Hello, everyone. Dadman Walking 55 tonight. How are y'all doing? I am boomering already. Uh-oh. It's happened already, Hungry.
Whoa, no, what happened? What happened?
I am hearing myself.
Oh no!
Hello?
StreamYards. Ah,
Oh my gosh. Let me see.
I don't hear an echo from you on my end. Ask the chat. Chat, are you hearing an echo
No,
from
it's me.
Okay.
You don't.
I don't hear an echo from you. I'm turning up the volume. Say something again.
Nope, it's me. My no, you don't. No.
Okay,
My
well, Mr.
computer.
Angel has the most sensitive hearing on the planet, and he says no echo. So maybe only you on your headphones are hearing the echo, but apparently Mr. Angel's not hearing an
I
echo.
don't hear an echo.
Thank you, Mrs.
Everything is turned off.
I got a tab that I cannot close.
What?
What tab can you not close?
I can't close it. It's here. There you go.
How's the echo now?
It's gone miraculously.
Ah,
Okay.
thank you, Mrs.
It was a hidden tab. Listen, the past 3 hours have been oh my gosh, if you folks knew what I've been doing for the last 3 hours, and I even threw a couple of Fortnite matches in there for that. Oh man, the pizza I got and Lisa's food with eggs in it were great things this whole time. So, oh
you
my
and eggs,
gosh.
man. You and eggs.
I tell you what, I would eat that whole meal completely, even with the eggs in it. So
Yeah, that looked yummy,
oh,
didn't it? Oh
I
boy.
know. Well, already Mr. Angel already caught me. No sooner did I put the wrong link in the Discord over Mark's channel, he's like, wrong link, and I hadn't even had a chance to pull it out yet. But oh gosh, folks, it is a wonderful thing, and like Snortapoopa said, it's delicious.
Oh yes, it did.
Yes,
That's the
it
kind
did.
of stuff I would have ordered if it was available at Denny's or Hobie's. So
Oh,
back when I
Hobies?
lived in the United States, yeah.
I've never heard of
So
Hobies though.
I think that was a West Coast thing. I think that was
Hmm.
a West Coast thing. But there were a lot of places that would offer breakfast as main meals, etc. And some were a little
Hmm.
bit too fancy schmancy. Some were a little too greasy. Lisa's it's like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, just right.
Oh, I know. I'm now settling down. I'm trying to get my Twitch back open so I can get the
Uh,
chat over there. So thank you for helping me talk a little bit while we're uh, killing in a couple minutes. So, folks, we're going to make. I'm going to get to the chat in just a moment, and we'll talk about what we're doing. But also, if you get the word out, share it out, tweet it out. We are going to make an announcement in a little bit.
hmm.
This I think will be slightly interesting.
Oh yeah.
We shall
Oh
see.
yes.
We shall see.
I
All
reckon
righty.
so.
I reckon so too. Now the thing is, I got to get all the screens I had up earlier. I got to make sure I still have them up there. Oh my gosh! So thank y'all all for being here tonight. This is going to be a special show tonight because this was another squirrel moment, wasn't it, Hungry Boy?
Yeah, I think it was. Yes.
We just were chatting away, and then it was like, "Hey, Police Academy, let's do that."
Yeah.
You know?
And you were surprised at me going, "Oh my god, I love that movie."
Yeah. Like,
I got a
damn,
lot
it's
of
like,
reasons to love
I got the twin brother that I never knew I had. So,
it. But that was also the case. That was also the case with Trilogy of Terror, and that was also the case with Killer Clowns. It's like, oh my god, you love Killer Clowns. Oh my god, I love Killer Clowns.
some really odd, unique type of things that not everybody like. I mean,
I know.
or know about. It's crazy. So, well, let's say hello to the people in the chat right now. So while people are coming in, now Mr. Angel here first, yes, and he said obligated boomer moment avoided, but then I still did one in. Yeah, the end. So hey, raise a glass, raise a pint. Hey, and Snortapoopas, hello humans and other critters.
Hello, Snorty. Hello.
And the missus who was right on
Yay,
the spot.
Mrs.
Well, what was stupid? I hate working freaking Excel like at work because they embed these damn pop-up screens behind three other friggin' screens. That happened here. I like looking. I'm trying to close it. It would not let me hit the X. Well, it was over on the other monitor behind something else. Do you want to close all tabs? Yes. I want to close them all. Just when I hit close the damn things.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. So, but hey, all right. So, all right, we got the CNN. Stunning is here. Hey, Stunning. Oi, what's up, y'all? Oh man, good. And yeah, Snorted Poops, absolutely. Lisa's food looked stunningly delicious tonight, and always she does a great job on that. So we know that. Let's see, Hobies, Hobies. I don't know if it's quite spelled like that, but hey, it's something. Mr. Angel's
Hey,
getting tea.
I haven't been in the United States for over 20 years. I mean, the chain could have died by now. But
I'm sure it did. So
many chains have died now.
oh yeah, I know. Burger Chef was one that we had years ago. Was it?
Oh no, Burger Chef is gone?
Yes, in the 70s. It died long time ago. I love Burger Chef.
Oh,
I love the kids' meals, the little destroy the environment wrappers and stuff. I love the kids' meals and stuff.
I mean, I never got to go, but you like I got to see ads from the 60s and 70s on YouTube. It's something I love about YouTube, seeing these old ads that, back before the days of PC taking over, like the old Jack in the Box ads where you actually had this talking Jack in the Box head, right? And yeah, those ads for Burger Chef, they were pretty good, man. And it made me want to be there and, enjoy it.
How do you spell Hobies?
HOBBEE''S. I may be wrong. I may be misremembering the sign, but
HOBBEE.
It was either IE or EE. It may be IE''S, but I remember there were two B's. So it seems like hobbies, but it was Hobies.
Well, it's hobbies. Hobbies, HOBEE.
Yeah.
Would they be in California since 1974?
Oh yeah, but we don't want to go down this rabbit hole. We got
we won't. But no. I know, but I gotta at least kick the tire on it. But apparently they are still around.
Oh really?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, fantastic! They did these great spicy breakfast burritos. You would have really loved them, and you could actually if you knew the trick, you could actually ask for them without eggs. Right. So you could get a spicy breakfast burrito without eggs, and they might substitute potatoes. And I think you would have liked that one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Potatoes are great in anything.
And they also did really good shakes, which you could get at 11 in the morning to go along with your breakfast burrito. And they had a whole bunch of their sandwiches were pretty good too. America is always best at sandwiches. I'm not going to complain about my country, but let's just give credit where credit is due. And places like Mary Callender's and Baker's Square, oh, I was living at those places.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And the pies at Mary Callender's and Baker's Square. Oh,
well, they got the Mary Callender's in the grocery stores now.
Oh, really?
Like where we are, you see them more in the grocery store than you see them as a standalone location.
That's too bad. That's too bad. That's like ordering comics online instead of going to a comic book shop. But it's still okay. It's fine.
It's the only way you can get a hold of them. So let's see. Mr. Angel said this. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, good to see you tonight. Good to see you. And Mr. Angel
Lisa
saying
comes in.
Yeah, she'll be here soon. I chatted with her earlier. PC screen's like my mind. 29 tabs open, 5 of them frozen. I have no clue where the music's coming from. That was my world about 10 minutes ago.
I wish I did not understand that, Mr. Angel. I really wish I did not. But the reason we need Lisa, and this is a compliment to the movie and to Lisa, she is our Kim Cattrall. She really is. And I love Kim Cattrall in this film. I'm not jumping ahead. I'm just saying I got 2 favorite Kim Cattrall films, Big Trouble in Little China and this one. Sorry.
I thought you were going to say Sex in the City, but
oh God.
Or nothing's gonna stop us now.
No. She was the only good character in that series. I had to, we talked about this with like X-Files versus Friends, and like I watch this for you, my honey, and you watch this for me, my dear, and I've had to watch at least 25 episodes of Sex in the City.
Compared
and Kim
to all
Cattrall was the only. Ugh.
well, compared to all the other ones, she's the one that could kick your ass, if she needed to. It's like,
Oh yeah.
she was taller and all, so hey, But anyway, why I said that, I don't know. It just sounded funny. Hey, how do you like the little police avatar, the little thing up in the corner? Have you noticed that?
I noticed it and I admired it. I complimented it a couple of days ago. Remember?
Yeah.
I said, oh, look, the hat is
The
on
missus.
a banana.
I didn't realize it till just before the stream that the missus made it to go up there.
Oh, I
So-
caught that. She knows how I am with the art. I caught that. I was like, yeah, Mrs. Nice job. Nice job.
Absolutely. So, oh my goodness. So, well, shall we start with some initial thoughts on
Snorty.
Police Academy?
Oh,
Yeah,
I got
saw-
some initial thoughts. I got some, but yeah, Snorty. Well,
Yeah.
what can we say? What can we say?
Mhm.
And she was brunette in this movie, which is very rare for her.
Right, because I think even Mannequin, she was more of a blonde, I think, in it. This was a darker, like you said,
Yeah.
brunette.
And she was honey blonde in Big Trouble from
Oh,
Little
look-
China.
Look at no.
Nope. Nope. Not touching that one, Mrs. But I'm laughing.
A little spicy there, folks. Hey,
The Mrs.
Yeah.
brings out she brings out the Burt Reynolds in me. She always does.
yeah, that is so awesome. Oh gosh. All right. So, any initial thoughts that you had with this movie? Think about the time when it came out. If you can remember when it came out, what was the first thing that was, when it came out versus like now?
Well, my first thought is that I had been disappointed in a lot of semi-naughty comedies since 1981, 82, etc. And I'll start out with something that'll get me in big trouble, not in Little China, but big trouble. And Mark will feel free with his clam pizzas to mock me for this, like we mock him for the clam pizzas. All right, I actually think this is a superior comedy to both Airplane and Animal House. I think the construction is better. I think the script is better. I think it was lightning in a bottle, like a lot of smaller films. And I would watch this film 7 times. I've watched Animal House 3 times. And Airplane, I've watched 4 times. But we'll get into more detail later. I think in terms of construction of a movie, it is a superior movie to a lot of films that are more beloved. And I just love. I'm sorry. I am considering my notes here.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Right off the bat, the film has the guts to do what a good film does, and we'll get into detail later. But within 3 minutes, the film sets the entire tone for the rest of it. Within 3 minutes, it's a 1 hour, 36-minute film if you include the credits. And not a lot of films can do that these days. And not a lot of films did it in 1983. 1983 was not a great year for film. This came out in 84. And there are things that this film did which we talk about with science fiction all the time, but for comedy, some things are ahead of its time. And clearly, the rest of the world agreed, because, I mean, how many sequels did we get? At least like 6?
You got
we get
7. You got 7 total movies because we got
Right.
the whole series in one box.
And they did something right, because they're getting names like Bobcat Goldthwait, who was bloody huge in the 80s. He's willing to come in and be a character in later films. So this first film, it just had so much going for it. And I'll get into like more details, as I said, later. But the other thing, I just want to say this and get it out of the way first, so we don't have to come back to it. When you really pay attention to the construction of a film and the actual production of it and the way something is made, sometimes extras suck and sometimes the extras are great. All the extras in this film were fantastic. The riot scenes, the bar fights, the guys in the Blue Oyster Club. Everybody who was an extra really pulled their weight. It's almost like they got a sense of what the film could be, and they decided to, throw their shoulders into it as much as the main actors did. I really admire that. I admire that a lot.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting watching it last night. How much like you said, the extras had to do with this. I mean, especially the one bad guy. He probably was more than just an extra because he got camera time. But I mean, all of them. The bar scene was one thing that I noticed too, and we'll get more into it later.
Well,
'Cause, I mean, they were
do you
right.
mean the bar scene with the and we'll talk about it, the prank on the two goons?
Yes.
Or do you mean
Oh,
okay,
yes.
that one? Yeah, we'll talk about that for a fair
Yes.
bit. But even there was the quick bar fight that led to the we'll talk about this later too. The street riot, which is the climax of the film. You know, the denouement almost of the film, where that's a very important moment at the end of the film,
Mhm.
where the street riot happens, but it happens because of something in the street that then goes through the window into the bar. The bar, then there's a sudden huge bar fight. That was very well photographed and constructed, and all the extras looked seriously scared of the bar fight that was going on near the end of the film. I'd be scared if these huge guys cracked through the window and they were punching everybody, and then they're punching people in the bar. It makes me not want to go to a pub again. Great film, wonderful direction.
By the way, she heard
Lisa, our Kim Cattrall. Yes, you are our Kim Cattrall, Lisa. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, I tell you what, you know, I have vague recollections of this movie because 84, it was 84. I was 14.
Long time ago, dude. Long time ago. We were barely shaven.
I was 14 at the time. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Come on, Snorphoobus. Oh, God, no. Oh, you guys in the chat are killing us tonight. We got 9 people here. Before I finish my thought, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. YouTube has taken us down 3 subs lately, so we're now at 465.
Oh, son of a bitch!
So we're going backwards. We got to go forwards. I'm hoping tonight. Speaking of that, I hope we. Do you think it's time? Well, let me finish my thought. Then I think it's time we make the announcement that we said.
Okay.
So I think we'll have some happy people. Really did not have a lot of firsthand memories, except for some vague generalities. Of course, the one prank bar scene, the rollover, the one on the training course that was highly emotional.
Oh God, yes.
It's the first movie I remember ever seeing boobs in.
Okay.
Boobs and buns. So,
boobs and buns. There was like one quick shot of buns. One quick shot of buns.
Yes.
The 80s were very boob oriented, not so much buns oriented. So
yes, exactly. So, but you know, there were things like that. Of course, the music, you know, the iconic theme, dun 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 dun.
The music was fantastic. The music was great. It had a theme. But also, you know, the music that is setting up the tension when something bad is happening, you know, whether it's comedic bad or it's real bad. We'll talk about the beginning in the moment. Because like I said, I rewatched the whole movie again for the sake of your show. And I was happy I did so. But the opening scene, which actually is as creepy, and like I wrote my notes, less than 3 minutes in, all right, it's show, don't tell, which modern filmmakers have forgotten. You know, suck it up, comedy soup. Suck this comedy soup, youngins. Establishing character, not just a political quip or a throwaway ticky-tacky-tardy catchphrase. You actually have Tackleberry being introduced as a security guard cop, and it's very clear he wants to be more than a security guard, right? And it's yeah, exactly. And it is actually done, although it's in color, like a tribute to the 1950s. Or late 1940s throughout the mid 1950s film noir stuff with cop movies, you know, where it's very dark and threatening. They got lightning going on. You got rain coming down. And right before that, we have the announcement, and I'll just, do you mind if I read it out?
What's that? Which one?
The announcement that comes as a super, meaning superimposed lettering on the film.
Oh yeah. I thought I got confused with the other announcement because I'm actually doing a poll right now. What? Go ahead, keep going.
No longer would height, weight, sex, education, or physical strength be used to keep new recruits out of the Metropolitan Police Academy. Wow, how prescient for now, the future. And that sets the tone for the whole film, and it lets you know what the basis of the plot is going to be. And it's just really quick. It's not a huge scroll although I love the huge scroll at the beginning of the very first Star Wars film. It's not A New Hope, it's Star Wars. And I was happy with that scroll in Star Wars, but I like this quick, get to the point aspect of Police Academy very much.
Yes, and also there's things that I realized. Okay, I'm going to go with this poll question. Who's your favorite character in Police Academy? Tackleberry, Larvell Jones, you know, the guy with the sound effects, Mahoney, or Lieutenant Harris? I mean, there's so many of them we could pick. How about those four?
That's actually a hard choice. I mean, in terms, God, I'm going to sound like such a jackhole here.
Well, would it work for the poll for now?
Oh, the poll is great. That's
Yeah,
great. It's
okay.
just not
All
great
right,
for
well,
me.
there's
But
the poll. I know.
I'm the jerkwad. Okay, so the poll is great. I'm the jerkwad.
All right, well, the poll's out there, folks. Who was your favorite in this? And of course, we could only pick four. It was choosing between Tackleberry, Larvell Jones, Mahoney, and Lieutenant Harris. I just picked four at random because there's a whole bunch of them. You know, and there are a lot of famous people in this episode in this movie.
Yes, Mrs. One of my favorite characters, and she gets a great payoff to her setup at the end.
Exactly.
Oh.
Did I put? I think I put. Yeah. No, I didn't put her in this. Laverne. I didn't put her in this time. There's so many dang characters in there that were like, ugh. So,
but that is something I'll be talking about later, where every single character and it gets a payoff for the setup. And these days, current writers, I mean, they make 9 setups and they can't even finish off 2 of them.
Oh, wow. Exactly. We got the Great Masters Maniac Mexico in the chat.
MMM
for dessert. Well, listen,
Great
if we go long enough, we might be able to do another 4. But hey, so let's. Those were my four a couple of observations. They're just not. I don't remember. I don't remember if I saw. I think we went out to a theater to see it. I don't remember, but there were some things. The boobs definitely made an impression on a 14-year-old. So.
This is the one time where you saw it in the theater and I had to wait to watch it on VHS, right? And so I saw it. I wanted to see it in the theater. I could just imagine people cheering, but the people in my house, it was during a party. We had about 10 people. There was a lot of cheering at a a lot of moments in these films.
Yeah,
in this film.
All right, Mr. Angel, like the 2 suck-up cups in the bar. Yes, exactly.
Oh! Mr. Angel.
Lieutenant Harris gets an honorable mention for making insert look cool.
Okay, Snorty, I'm just going to say right now while you guys are doing the poll, because I'm the jerkwad. Harris, played by one of my favorite character actors, G.W. Bailey. I loved him because he put so much into this role, and he was playing it straight, no pun intended, the whole time. And he has a long history. He was in MASH, among other things, and his career continued. He's in The Closer and he's in Major Crimes. He's an incredibly important character in those. So he's now playing the good cop after he was playing the bad cop. This man has so much range, and he's a Texan. I like Texans. I got no shame in saying that. And without this movie, he was the linchpin of this movie. Without G.W. Bailey playing Harris, this movie would have fallen apart.
I agree. He was the glue that held it together, being that serious. I mean, you see, I thought it was interesting some of the change of roles of some of the command staff down. And let me hold off on that till we get through a little bit here. Because, it was interesting seeing this again and seeing what the police commissioners thought of everything was.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you start seeing him in later movies, it's like he's a completely different person. Our great George Gaines, Commandant Eric Lassard. I have got to say a special thing about him in a little bit for that. But with 10 people,
I really appreciate him too. But I just want to back you up on saying in the later films, I mean, I don't mean to sound harsh, but they're almost making it seem like he's suffering dementia.
Oh no, and I didn't mean with him. Yeah, I know they made him a shell of himself, but I was talking more like the commissioner.
Yes.
How the attitude,
chief of police. That was the chief of police,
and how they changed from originally. Yeah,
and they were sinister in this.
Yeah, we're going to stop the people because like you read it all. Where the cops weren't happy. Like I like that last part of that tagline. The cops weren't happy, and it was true because you saw him. He was like, get rid of everybody, and Harris was all the more easy to oblige. And hello, Rabbit Slug Ouchies.
That's a great name. That's a
Love
great
it.
name.
Love it. Good. I think I've seen you before, but hey, good to see you today. Hey, sit back, relax. Everybody hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't on the YouTube side. Follow us on the Twitch side with 11 people. Now, are we ready for the major announcement?
Yep.
All right. We are ready for something that I'm nervous with this one. Hungry Boy. I'm going to get your name wrong. You know that?
It happens every time. And you know what? That's something people look forward to in the show now. So that's fine.
Okay. That's cool. Well, folks, you know, everybody, one thing sometimes I try to always be like a cornucopia of various programming and variety to do kinds of different things and stuff. Oh, hey, it's Kronos. Hey. Oh my gosh. Well, good to see you, Kronos.
Oh, okay. Just talk to him for a moment. I need 20 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay,
And then
no problem.
announcement.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it does. But glad you made it in though. Rabbit Slug, Ouchies, and Kronos. Good to see you tonight. And everybody that's here tonight. So, like Lisa, yes, exactly. There you go. Oh, wow. That's crazy. You know, YouTube does weird things. StreamYard does crazy things. So, Store Poopa says a slug by any other name. But glad you're here. Glad you made it in. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy either. But hey, you got in. That's what's important. And you're just in time for what we're about to say. Once Hungry Boy comes back, and I've got his name right again tonight. But I will. This is going to be a fun movie tonight. Feel free to share your movies and your thoughts about this movie as we go along, and have fun with us on this one. It's going to be fun. And don't hold back. All right, did I hear you come back? No, I get. Hey, but listen, yeah, he'll always be Kronos. Yes, yeah, but don't talk about him like he's gone forever. He's still here. He found his way in through all the systems to make it in. All right, we ready? Hungry?
All right.
All right, we got 10 people now here. Hopefully, there's more people lurking because I was talking about a cornucopia of programming, right? I'm trying to do things because I'm trying to get out of an image. There's B from O. Hey,
hello.
Perfect timing, B. Speaking of Fortnite specifically and football, but really early on it was like people just wanted to, and I was heavily Fortnite and football because I started the channel for football, all that, right? And then Fortnite got into it. But I've really been fighting being labeled as just that. And I like these squirrel chases. I like the diversity. I like doing all kinds of different things. You know that we've talked about some science fiction, right? I've joined some other clubs. I've just looked at some things, and I've gotten into different franchises.
And including a great debate yesterday.
A great debate yesterday regarding Star Wars with our friend Marty with a C.
Yes.
But guess what, folks? Guess what? We are going to step out into the world of science fiction on this channel. I am old, as you know. I'm tired of Darth Maul. I don't want to. Lisa, oh God, stop milking it.
I know.
It's like I don't want the Darth Maul debates. I don't want the Disney debates because I want to go something nice, cool, old, but highly refreshing. It is to take a one night look at the original Battlestar Galactica.
Da, 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 da.
Yes. Joining me on this wonderful panel, at least for one night only, you never know what will happen after that, is the great, I got to go with Lisa first, though,
Yes.
because the great chef queen herself, Lisa from YouTube, the great JT Kirk, and our friend Hungry Boy, no retcon. No retcon. Yes. Yes.
And it doesn't mean I don't appreciate people who love the remake of BSG. It just means I love the original more. That's all it means.
Exactly. And I've seen a number of streams, and I've seen weekly streams. I've seen occasional panel discussions on the new series, which it had its strengths, it had its differences. For would you call it a retcon reboot or whatever you call it.
To be fair to it, because I hate retcon and I don't hate it. To be
Yeah.
fair to it, before we talk about this wonderful movie, I would say that it is a re-envisioning, which means that you actually have writers who are trying. You have creative designers and production designers, meaning the guys that actually do the art to show what the overall feel is going to look like. And so, like
Right.
with the secondary Battlestar Galactica, they were going for a very use technology feel. Like, you know, one of the things they said was 1960s Soviet technology. It looks like
Right.
it works, but it looks very hard to deal with. Very hard to deal with versus just flashing lights and switches. So I do
Yes.
appreciate it, but it doesn't have the same heart and passion and feel and poetry and big
Yes.
soaring moments in the heart that the original BSG had. It was darker, and I appreciate it. But you know, it doesn't mean I have to like it as much as other people to
Yep.
appreciate them liking it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and Lisa is Supergirl, but she's
Yes, she is.
Supergirl, Superwoman, whatever. But yeah, it was not bad for that. But hey, I want to look at the original. This is what I
Yes.
grew up with. This is what when I was 8 years old. It's what sticks with me. Plus, I also have some special stuff to show along with it. It's not just going to be a talk about the shows.
Right.
I got some stuff that I want to show off. It's kind of like a show and tell also too.
Yeah.
So Mrs., if you could tweet that out for me now that it's public, I'd appreciate it. Because I have trouble multitask. Now, Mr. Angel says, considering I'm just an insane BSG fan, I am happy. Points at Avatar.
Yes.
I am so glad we could make you happy. But we're going to have
And
fun with this.
also, I don't want to offend anybody, but you know, there's only one set of Cylons for me, and that's 1978 to 1979. A robot got to look like a robot. A robot got to look like a robot. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that is the big news for the night, the big announcement that we had.
Yay!
Hey, it's really, really cool to see. Appreciate everybody. We look forward to seeing you on the 17th of the month for that. And, we're going to have some fun. And it may not be the only thing we're going to be doing going forward.
Yeah,
So,
Lisa. No comment, Lisa. No comment. We're already dealing with a politically incorrect movie today, Lisa.
yeah. Oh, yes. Talk about politically incorrect. This thing is beyond politically incorrect for these days and stuff now. So, but yes, it is such a, I'm so excited with Battlestar Galactica. It's like, man, we got to get back to the topic at hand, though. Like Storm Puka said, I'm the old BSG too, even when I got silly silent gunfire call. So, Klingon was in BSG. Well, you know what was, well, we'll talk about it. There was a movie that used old Battlestar Galactica footage, just flat out used it. So
we need to save all that MST3K stuff and Australia stuff. I mean, we're 33 minutes in. We got to get back to the movie, man. We got to get back to the movie.
I know, but hey, it's good. All right. Oh, feed me mushrooms. Oh gosh, you guys are funny. Hey, thank y'all for being here. This movie is really watching it again for the first time in all these years was really, really fun last night. It was a little bit eye-opening though. I did not realize I did not realize how irreverent it was. It was, like you said, I think it was ahead of its time. It was it was much more of a fuller, more developed movie than what we saw with, like you said, about the Naked Guns or the other movies, Airplane and things like that. So, but right off the bat, it was one of those movies that got your attention with the music. Yeah, yes. Like Cronus is saying there, is that you could hear that theme, very iconic. But again, here music in a comedy is something you would not think would be a big deal, but the music really made a big difference in this. Not just you had the marches at right times, and then like you were saying earlier, the create the tension where it was needed.
Yes, the very scary scene, shall we say, And
Mhm.
the music leads into another aspect of the film, and I'm gonna go a bit deep here. I warned you I'd give you a surprise or two,
Yes,
when we were
please.
talking about this privately. I think one of the reasons that this film works so well and the jokes land so well is
Mhm.
that it actually takes all the characters and the character building very, very seriously. And so, yes, there are jokes, but there are times where we're really coming to understand what these characters are, who they are, why they are, even though it's done with subtext. And subtext means showing them doing something, then we understand why they're doing it without them, like in current day crap comedy, saying, "This is what I am sociologically speaking, and this is why I'm making the joke." And that was not the case back in 1984, and when this movie was being made. And
Mhm.
so this movie, it actually takes a little bit. I stress little, a little bit, not a lot, a little bit,
Mhm.
out of one of my all-time favorite movies, which is not a comedy but had comedy in it, called The Dirty Dozen.
Oh,
And
yes. Yeah.
part of the plot elements are very similar to The Dirty Dozen. And because of that, when the joke does land, it means more, because we've had some very, very grim moments in this so-called comedy, right? With all of these characters, and you have Harris basically being almost a psychological hired assassin to make life miserable for these people and make them wash out, because the police department does not like this new edict of hire anybody who applies. And so you have a guy who is a great character actor who has no
Mhm.
comedy in some roles, and then he's very comedic in other roles.
Right.
G.W.
Well,
Bailey was perfect for this.
well, let me
Perfect.
say that we were talking about how the police hate it because they did it in that opening tagline. You had read it and
Yeah.
stuff, and it was really reflective a lot of the time of the
Yeah.
times back then. There was a lot of resistance to opening up police forces. In the prior time, way back,
Yeah.
probably even before them. It was like it took that and really like doubled down on it. It really like threw it out
Oh, yeah.
there and tried to put a comedic laugh on it. But when we talked about earlier was that the the commissioner, he came in telling them get rid of these people. He wasn't
Yeah.
happy, and
He
they
did not
they
mince
emphasized
words.
the gender of they emphasized the gender of the mayor and a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff. It was like really interesting. I did not realize that it was that much, but it was, I think, a product of its time though.
Well, true. And also, yeah, I remember back in '82 when there were discussions, and I would read newspapers in '82, even though I was young, about having women on the police force, and there was a lot of flack about that, and there was also a lot of flack that was being reflected, in shows like NYPD Blue, right? Which
Hmm.
was one of the most successful cop shows of all time. So this film was like a comedy version of NYPD Blue concerns, just like Blazing Saddles was a comedy version of very serious westerns, very
Hmm.
serious westerns. And I admire that. And rewatching this, I thought I might like it a little bit less than I did when I saw it a couple of times before. I like the film way more rewatching it now, passing my half century mark as an adult. I mean, I really got into this film. For you look at setting up the villains as real characters with real motivations. That means we're mixing stakes of drama against the stakes of jokes that come afterwards. And it's just, I'll be reiterating this phrase often, so beautifully constructed from the script up. And then you have the actors and the director being able to work with that script. And it makes things so much funnier. So much funnier.
Yeah, you have enough reality in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, the best comedy, and I've heard somebody say that before, but it actually, I've kind of adopted this. It's like your best satire or your best comedy has truth in it.
Oh yes, and that
And
goes back. And this will be a deep moment I bring up later. And I'm just the only teaser. That goes back to Shakespeare. That goes back 421 years. Shakespeare
mhm,
actually invented the situational comedy, or the comedy film, in terms of format. And there is actually more than a little bit of Shakespearean construction in this story. And I know Mark's
mhm.
going to laugh at me for that one, but you know what? He shows us a lot of bad comic book art, so too bad.
Yes. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad, Mark. Oh,
I love him. I love him, but too
I
bad.
know. I know. Well, before we talk about the actors and you talked about G.W. Bailey, he's been great in all kinds of stuff. It
Oh
just,
yeah.
you really like to hate him, but he's he's like the lovable bad guy in a way. It's like, you really don't want that bad to happen to him. But we know that I think it was probably the movie that made Steve Gutenberg. Well, of course, that 3 Men and a Baby did too. But
Yeah.
this movie also introduced us to a lot of famous people. You had Bubba Smith, the former football player.
Oh,
that was
I
in this
love Bubba
movie.
Smith. Hightower is one of my favorite characters in this film. I'm going to shut up and let you go on, but yes, Bubba.
Yeah, you got Bubba Smith. We see future stars like Kim Cattrall, who was in Mannequin around the time, or a little bit later was in Mannequin. But one of the near and dear to my heart, and your heart too, Hungry, George Gane, Commandant Eric Lassard, who also played the psychiatrist in the second short of Trilogy of Terror.
Yes. Good catch. Good callback. Thank you, my bro. The Bison Bros. Thank you.
Yes, Bison Bros. But it was like when I was watching the Trilogy of Terror a while back. I'm like, that's it, Commandant Lassard.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, hey, he's in this movie too. But oh my god, it was just like, we had so many of these things, and it was the start of a lot of careers, and some of them like David Graff played Tackleberry. Michael Winslow was a comedian but he kind of got stuck with this role because of the sound effects, that.
Well, I mean, but also to be fair, that's why he got hired, because a lot of people don't remember he was doing those sound effects on stand-up nights and also on variety shows, late night television shows. I can't remember which one he was on, but I remember seeing him on television doing his sound effects before Police Academy came out. So that's kind of fair. It's like Bobcat Goldthwait being known for playing, it was just totally not him the way he normally talks. Totally, his normal manner of speech is totally different to what he was doing on stage in the 80s. But that's what they hired him for. Like the crazy whacked out, probably did too much Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm laughing over here in the back. We got 13 people with. Smash that like button, hit subscribe. Let's get to 500 because this is YouTube's killing us now. But I just have to laugh at Cronus Rabbit. Like, I think
Callahan.
I know who he's talking about.
Callahan. He's
Leslie
talking about
Easterbrook. I was just about to mention Leslie Easterbrook could kick our ass any day.
Oh, that was a point I wrote down 6 hours earlier.
Yes.
We'll bring that up later. But remember, speaking of Easterbrook and kicking ass, remind me to talk about that later, especially when she's doing the self-defense training program in the gym.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that's 100%.
Hell, JT Kirk.
Hello, JT. Hello.
He's lurking while on a late night grocery run. JT, we've made the announcement on here, and the missus has actually put the tweet out. It is on the street about October 17th. Let's talking Battlestar Galactica, the original. So,
and also Rabid Slug, I love your enthusiasm, but we're going to try to keep it a little PG-13 right now because this movie's already going to be a challenge regarding the PC police.
Yes, it is. It's gonna be crazy. I mean,
we don't want the stream taken down because of a comment on the chat. You know what
I
mean?
don't know. I might take it down myself sometimes with this damn movie. This was like culture shock to me. I'm sitting here like, did they say that? Did they say
God.
that? And I'm like, oh my gosh,
especially the two goons. I mean, the two goons of Lassard. I'm not even going to bother using their names. I hate them so much. But the character actors, it's all about character acting, right?
Yeah.
Where these people are not, except for Winslow, these people are not professional comedians, but they're being funny. And that is something that made the whole film just flow. And also, this is a general comment, and not for scene by scene. But the thing that is great about this film, if you look at it compared to current day films, the editing is perfect. Just the right amount of time for the joke to land, not leaving it too long, not cutting too quickly to the next scene, and letting the joke breathe and letting the character actors give in to their best instincts in getting the read right, and the director knowing which of the cuts to use. And it is in that respect, it is a perfect comedy.
Yeah, I think we will hit this one, Mister.
We will come up to that, Mr. Angel, if you're still
Yeah.
awake by the time we're done. I understand
Yeah.
that you might get tired later because of the
Yeah.
time difference, but oh God, poor Tackleberry, Mr. Angel, poor Tackleberry, the
Oh,
one
kitchen.
thing he wanted. Oh,
Well, Lisa's cleaning the kitchen while we're talking, so that's good. Glad we could sit here while you're working, lurking, and whatever else. Everybody, thank you for being here. All right, shall we start with getting through this movie?
let's
We hit
rock
the
and
characters.
roll.
All right. Well, of course, you get the intro, you get the fanfare, the music, you get the almost Star Warsy type of intro slide, except
Yeah.
it doesn't scroll. Says basically all the standards are gone out of the police force, so now to roll out, making basically where everybody can play a police officer possibly these days. So roll it out, and the police hate it is the idea. And so then the first opening scene was really kind of creepy because it was in the dark. You didn't know what happened. You just see this guy like very stealthily go around, and then that opening scene with Tackleberry is walking down the hall, and then the one guy goes to leave his office, and he's like Tommy turns, looks at him, and he's like,
yeah.
Hi, Tackleberry. It's like,
and there have been so many films, for 15 years beforehand, where a security guard, and it includes television films, they're coming down, they're sensing something is wrong, and then they get shot. So when you don't know what this film is going to be, when you're seeing it for the first time, you're thinking this guy's going to be just a secondary character, a red shirt, as they say in Star Trek, where you get knocked off at the beginning of the film. And luckily for all of us, he was a real major character.
Exactly. And hello, Lemon Pie. Good to see you.
Citrus! Yay!
Citrus! Oh my gosh, we got a bear hanging at Lisa's kitchen window.
There could be worse fates.
Yeah. But hey, listen, but yeah, it was like the guy coming out of his office was like terrified, like, can I leave now? He's like he's like affirmative or 10-4. He's like 10-4 and salutes, and he's like 10-4.
Then see that immediately, that's subtext again, showing, not telling, where we can immediately see this guy has taken this situation way too seriously, and he might be a danger to the common health,
Oh yeah. Well, we see that. He keeps going down in the dark. Then he hears a knock.
Yeah.
There's something. He does that little thing back to the wall. Then he kicks the door and fires 4 shots in the dark, or 5.
And those poor people who were basically surprise,
No. They sat there, turned the light on, and then they just sat there, and they just sat there quiet for like 2 seconds, and then one lady says, because they're all covered in cake and a splash. There's the drink fountain, the soda fountains, soda machines spewing out a liquid, and then finally after a couple of seconds, the lady's like, surprise.
Which is also nice, because you see that actually shows that some people cared enough about him that they were giving him a surprise party. So he may be a nutbag, and he is a nutbag, but he's a lovable nutbag, and other people cared enough to give him that little surprise party. It's a wonderful intro to a film. Wonderful.
Oh, and I love the way he was almost like Alice from Brady Bunch. Oh, guys, it's like, dude, you just shot at 4 people.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's like,
but he had the best of intentions.
Oh, I know. Well, we get to another scene later in the movie.
And Mrs. has a good comment here.
Okay. Oh, man. As you said, they let Tackleberry's action explain his character instead of someone telling us.
Yeah. Mrs. and I and you, we all are all in agreement. We are so sick of telling, not showing. We're so sick of it. So this movie... Oh, what a delight. What a delight.
Exactly. Show it and let the viewer reach their conclusions. I won't go and sidetrack to more recent shows, But
Yeah.
that seems to what it's a victim of is
Mm.
this just let you. And to me, that's part of what humor is about, is showing it, not explaining it. It's like the missus tells me, it's like she says, "You're funnier when you try not to be."
I've heard that from so many people.
And then she also says, it's not funny if you have to explain it. So
Yep. She's
yeah,
right.
it's like so many things. All these things were just common, bare bones funny. Everybody could get it, could get the point of it, and you could have funny. So yeah, just slightly into the Second Amendment. Uh, yeah, and also this is a good observation that she had here.
Yes.
They started bringing out characters at the beginning. One and one. You got Tackleberry, then you saw
Barbara.
Beckler,
Barbara.
Barbara.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barbara. And back when you had film, folks, do you remember what
Yes.
film is for a camera? Yeah.
Film cabins, kiosks, these
Yes.
little drive-by places, drive-by film development. I remember those. I used those.
And they tossed him in the river with that thing. And
The whole
then
damn thing.
yeah, and you had Fackler, with his wife saying, "You're not going to leave," and he's like,
Oh God.
he just goes off. She's like, jumped on his car hood and
Yeah. She was
So
a
you
good
don't
bit
go home.
actress, a big character. She's a good comedy actress. She's been in more than a couple of things on television. It was good seeing her again.
Deborah Lee Scott is who
Mm.
that was. Played Mrs. Fackler. So,
Yeah.
but to Miss Point, we started getting introduced to these people very slowly, very, but one at a time, and you got to see them and their backgrounds.
Well, like King
And-
Cattrall and her mother in the damn limousine, and the mother's holding that huge hairy kitty, no pun intended.
Mhm.
Huge. This cat looking like I could be anywhere but here now. And the mother is just, oh, my stars and garters. And Kim Cattrall just doing these wonderful facial expressions. She really gave everything into this role. She did micro expressions, little tilts of her shoulders in order to use her body to tell the story without dialogue being necessary. And it's so clear she does not give a crap philosophically about anything her mother has to say. And that immediately gets us on side with her.
Mhm.
Immediately
Mhm.
gets us on side with her. So she's not just a pretty face.
Exactly. It was interesting. But see, I like with Mrs. Fackler, she's like, "You move this car another inch, you're finished, mister. You hear me?"
I know.
It's like, dang, that's I recognize Deborah Lee Scott. I just don't. I'm trying to see what other things she may
She's
have
also
played in.
often done a lot of bit parts in sitcoms.
Yeah. It actually looks like she was. Some. Things like that. Some of Welcome Back Kotter, it looks like. So different
Mhm.
things with that. So that's kind of what's good with this movie. You see all kinds of different people in here, different things. So Commandant, yes, there's Commandant. Yes, I love Commandant Eric Lassard, like we said earlier. So
Well, and there were these subtle moments, like before we did the show,
Mhm.
even before we started preparing, there was this moment that stuck with me for over 20 years where he drives his little golf buggy, just it's a golf buggy.
I can't help it. I'm thinking about later in the movie. He drives happy and he drives angry.
And it's so subtle, but there's that moment where he just looks out over the water, and it's a serious contemplative
Mhm.
moment. And he just does that he has the physical timing perfectly where he takes off his hat. And it's just like, is this what my life is meant to be? And then boom, we go right into another scene. And that is good construction of a film right there.
They did. The pacing was really good from scene to scene. I was telling the missus last night, it was like there was a group of, it was like it was like a bunch of sketch comedy, like short sketches that were woven together, but they were woven together in a way that made sense and they flowed.
But I think the writers had an overarching idea of where the story was meant to go. I think they actually, it's called in screenwriting, it's called the through line, right? Where you may have individual vignettes or full scenes, but everything ties into something else and it's going from one point to lead to a very different result. And that's going to be the interesting thing when we talk about Gutenberg, because you don't generally see this in a lot of comedies for the past 20 years. But Gutenberg has a true hero's journey. He has a character arc. He starts out as someone who I went to high school with, or the kind of person I went to high school with, and I could not bloody stand. And by the time we get to the end of the movie, he is 100% a different guy. And we'll talk about that later if we're going to be talking about individual characters. But
and it wasn't just for the girl either, you know.
No. By the time I even wrote it down on my notes, by the time we are into the second half of the second act, which is a little less than 2/3 of the movie, we are seeing him looking at his fellow cadets differently. We're seeing him looking at the public differently, which all leads to that big climax at the end. And there is some subtle stuff here where if you took all, this is an overview statement, if you took all of the comedy out of this film, ask yourself, would it still stand up as a feel-good film where you like all the characters if you took all the jokes out? And my answer is yes. This would still stand up.
Yeah, and that's where I think we're good comedy. It's not just all or just gags and stuff. It actually flowed. It had a plot. It was really. I will tell you, and I will argue, you need to see Cocaine Bear because that was a good one that actually held up like
I'll get
that.
around to it.
Yeah, but we were actually impressed with that one. But yeah, it you know, there are hollow, empty movies that you know when it's done, you're like, what did I just watch? You know, you don't, nothing stays with you and whatever. But this one had a lot of those scenes that were good enough though that they stick with you. You know, it's not just the comedy, but there's something to it. You know, that
unlike all the Judd Apatow movies.
Oh no,
I can't stand his comedy.
Yes, I hope
His
it does not shut down again. But she's here. She's here in case it does happen. All right. So basically, we got introductions for all the characters, all the recruits coming up. Of course, you had the guy coming up with all the babes in the car and and all that too. You got him.
Giorgio Martin.
and it's like a bunch of misfits. It's like, oh my gosh, a bunch of misfits coming together. It's the typical worst case scenario for a bunch of serious cops like Lieutenant Harris, you know. You know, it was, you know, and of course the chief oh God, what is his name? I'm looking at it real quick too. Well, Captain Reed was
the precinct chief who was trying to help Gutenberg after Gutenberg gets in trouble at the beginning. I mean, he is a great character actor, and he played that scene to perfection. You know, that was like Lou Gossett before Lou Gossett. Right? Oh my God, that mustache. I look at that mustache and I'm like, I'm going to obey the law, sir. I'm going to do whatever you say. And that vest.
Yeah, he was really solid put together. I mean, really, especially like in the formal thing, like at the parade at the end when he shows up in full uniform. It was really, really cool with him. I just trying to remember the chief's name because I don't see it popped up here. That's kind of where I'm trying to find it. But you know, the chief comes in that opening scene. He's like, get rid of them. He wants them gone. And Lassard's like, okay, we'll do it. And Harris was like, was all into it and really there. So you could tell it was really a lot of animosity, and it was good. It was good without being over the top, you know. So,
well, yeah, but just to back you up, and this is totally just to back you up. They let the villains be real villains versus cardboard villains. And, you know, new brats who call themselves writers cannot do that anymore, as you've talked about regarding certain other shows we won't mention. And if you take out all the joke bits with the chief of police and GW as Harris, they are both terrifying. The chief of police is sinister, and he's just as bad as the corporation president in RoboCop, which 3 years before RoboCop came out. Meanwhile, you know, all these SpongeBobby and Buffy brats weaned on Whedon can't write villains at all. And yet here we have real villains in a comedy show which actually centers and concretizes the plot.
Did you know that this apparently was shown on NBC at one point?
Oh,
1987. They edited 5 minutes from this film for its 1987 network television premiere.
I never saw it on network. I only saw it on VHS, and then later on, when I got back to Australia, they showed it uncut,
Mm.
which is surprising for Australia, let me tell you.
Yeah,
But yeah, seriously. But like I've never seen the censored version. I tend to avoid censored versions. I
yeah,
find that especially regarding comedy, secondarily horror, but especially with comedy,
yeah,
I find that morally and ethically and creatively offensive
yep,
to like take it upon yourself when you cannot write a 5-page short story to say what needs to go in and go out and come out of something that's already been produced 20 years before you were born. I don't like that at all. I'm not getting
yeah.
political. I'm just saying
I know,
people
I know.
who the people who censor writing should be writers themselves. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. JT's apparently unlurking the cereal. He loves SpongeBob. Good effort. Take a Trump. Okay. Well, hey, but listen. The missus said yes.
Harumph. He uses my
Yeah.
favorite word. Harumph. Nice one.
Was it please Chief Henry J. Yes, Henry J. Hurst. George R. Robertson played that role.
Mm.
Yes, that's what it is. Thank you, Mrs. for that info. But, one of this movie also has a good bunch of great lines. Like one that says, Harris is like confronting Mahoney. Mahoney, remember that nobody screws with me. Well, maybe you'll meet the right girl and that will all change. You know. So
Well, that's true. And also
yeah,
because you and I appreciate a lot of South Park.
yeah.
There was actually a line that South Park I stress kind of swiped, where
Oh, really?
they're talking the goons, okay, the goons are making fun of poor old Barbara, and they say, I could show a movie on your butt, fatso. Well, they said that to Cartman in season 3 of South Park. So this film clearly resonated with people who became incredibly successful afterwards, like Matt and Trey.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So there's an
Mm-hmm.
homage and then there's a ripoff, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
this movie you can't rip off because you have to have the aplomb and the talent in order to do it in
Right.
the first place.
So, folks, feel free to share some moments of this movie that you like, some of the favorite lines. Feel free to share with us as we move through this. So, we start in, we talked about the scene there in the Chiefs. So, the recruits come on, they get, they start to get assigned and put to different areas. One of the next things I thought, well, one thing I did love, I love when Fackler stopped his car, his wife flew off into the bushes, but that was good. But
you do like that kind of comedy on occasion,
I,
my bro.
I am very gag centric type of physical comedy type of person. But but they one of the things was they went to the barbershop because Harris called him out. Y'all, to the barbershop, and the two gung ho guys just
Yeah.
got in a chair and had it all cut off, right? Buzz cuts. I like this haircut, so.
Dude, I'm sporting that haircut right now. It is so comfortable. And when you live in humidity and where you live, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You do not want long hair because you could wring out your pillow like a sponge after a bad summer night. And I can't even laugh at that scene with the haircut because I'm sitting there going, I do that every 3 weeks, man. It feels great. It feels great to get that crap off your head.
Yes, I know. I wish I could cut it, but Mrs. likes a little bit long, so it's like,
Oh, Mrs. Yeah, that's a great scene. I like all the Hightower stuff. I mean, to back up what the Mrs. is saying and what you're saying, see, Hightower is a beautiful iteration of a subtextual character because he actually has very little to say and he speaks with actions more than words. But when he admits something, like what did you do before you came here? I was a florist.
yes.
And the audience is like, what?
What?
But they bring that back. They bring that back after he gets kicked out. And
he's a florist again. But so if let's try to move fast a little bit through the movie now.
No problem.
We got.
Sorry.
Oh no, we're good. Yeah, because that's a little bit later in the scene. But we start getting some various training scenes. The physical fit exercises, things like that. Then Barbara gets called on. I don't want to. Do I have to? I just ate.
Yeah.
No, you have to. It is the order, and I don't know if this was the scene you were asking about earlier, but like when he attacks Leslie's Callahan. And she
yeah.
puts him down. Is that the one you wanted to talk about? That one with that scene?
Well, I mean it's an example, but I just wanted to give an overall comment about Callahan. Whereas certain people have said, "Oh my God, these days these 90-pound girl bosses, blah 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 blah." Right? The thing with Callahan, played by the actress, is especially compared to all the cadets that she's training, you believe, with the exception of Hightower, that she could kick their ass in a second. I would not want to piss off Callahan, even when I was physically fit, because I would believe she could take me out in a second. And I've done a little bit of self-protection training before, and I can tell when somebody can utterly ruin me. And she could ruin people. And that's why some of the scenes later on, which we'll get to, are so funny, but I honestly, I believe that she would be fantastic. The character, not the actress. The character is portrayed by the actress and the director and the script would be fantastic in terms of self-defense and also offensive training. And she was terrifying but beautiful at the same time throughout the entire film. Yeah. And she makes mistakes. There are times later on we'll get to, like the climax of the film, where she is actually incorrect. And little quiet voice, Laverne, she is correct. She makes the correct decision. But overall, Callahan is a good person to have in the police force. And I actually think she's a very positive character in this film. Hello?
Yep. She it was like the good part of the training staff. Lieutenant Harris was over the top, the bad guy. She was like the straight man because like when Lieutenant Harris, please report to the firing range. He goes out, and she has to take over, fills in, very complimentary.
Oh yes.
But I tell you what, that's one thing that I loved that Michael Winslow's character was just the sound effects. It was kind of new. You really hadn't seen something like that in a movie like that. Playing video games, doing helicopter. We had one where he's like going up, or I think Mahoney's going up the stairs, and he's passing Mahoney. He's like, "I want to lift." No, and he keeps going with the helicopter scene. Noises.
No, that's fantastic, and I 100% agree with you. And that's what is often referred to in Estrella and also in filmmaking as added value. Like there are these little moments aside from the serious stuff or the very heavy comedy stuff where there's something that Lisa knows what I mean by this. It's a palate cleanser. Lisa knows what I mean, and the missus knows what I mean. It's like a little bit of that sorbet between some very, very heavily flavored dishes that you're having in a 3 to 5 course meal. But the thing that's beautiful about Winslow, to back you up, is you don't even realize he's going to get the massive payoff at the end, but it's all a setup. And in that wonderful moment at the end, he saves Lassard's life, and he saves Gutenberg's life by being able to make the one sound he knows is going to terrify over 80 people trying to break into that car and kill them. And he was right. That is actually high IQ functional thinking at that moment. And that's something you'd see in an action film, but it's also comedy. And oh God, I'm going to get goosebumps even talking about it. I got goosebumps when I watched it last night. I got goosebumps in the 90s and the 80s. That is just one of the most beautifully scripted moments in film, either, for a comedy or any other genre.
Well, see, I think, this thing jumps on me here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to prattle on. I apologize.
No, you're fine. No, the missus here talked about, and I noticed this too last night, and I agree with the missus. She made the observation when we were watching it. she felt that Callahan had empathy for the cadets and wanted them to succeed.
Yes.
She wasn't in on the plot to kick them out just to kick them out, you know?
Well, there was actually one moment, and the missus will remember this, where they're doing some training exercise, and one of the cadets is having a great moment, right?
Mhm.
And Harris is sneering at them, and Callahan then has this kind of disgusted look on her face towards
Yeah.
Harris, although he doesn't see it. I mean, I honestly consider Callahan to be what they refer to as an anti-hero, not a villain, not a hero, but she's kind of like a bit of a female Clint Eastwood in this one, you know, where she follows her
okay.
own moral code. And it is for the benefit of everyone, but she's kind of doing it by her own code.
But you lined me up for this comment from Snoosh Snortopoopus. So
Damn it.
Callahan was named for another fictional copy. Callahan, Dirty Deborah. Dirty Deborah hit Callahan.
Dirty Deborah Callahan. Oh, Snorty. I'm so envious of that joke. That's brilliant. Standing ovation. I'm already standing. Sorry, Snorty. Standing ovation
all
for
right.
Snorty.
And see,
Good one.
Mr. Angel comes in with defining what a sorbet is. So,
Yes.
so I thank you, Mr. Angel, the resident chef. No, I didn't know what to say. I know it's trivial to call it ice cream, and I know it's different than ice cream. So I won't insult the professionals out there. So
There's ice cream, gelato, and sorbet, and they're all incredibly
Really?
different. Yes. Gelato, if you like chocolate, I don't know if Lisa will agree. If you like chocolate and a deep, intense, rich chocolate flavor, gelato is best, in my opinion. Mr. Angel may kill me for that, but that's my opinion.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So, oh, you know what? And of course, as we see things happen, so there are different stunts and stuff that have happened throughout this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody in the chat also mentioned like shoe polish and stuff earlier. Well, we also had a few stunts like that in here. Like this is a good classic one right here.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
My
was
honey
pretty
went to get
charming.
new pants and whatever it was to for Harris and put it on the little bullhorn that he took around everywhere. So we did have gag humor in this movie with everything
Yes.
else, not just lines and witty jokes. We actually had a lot of the physical comedy in the training scene. Did you have any notes about the training scenes or anything in that area that we might have missed up the first part of the movie so far?
Well, let me look at my notes. But okay, there's that. No, I actually think you covered that all beautifully.
Well, cool.
Except for the fact that with Laverne, who speaks with a very quiet voice, and then she gets her big voice at the end. Her training scene, and also with Tackleberry, when Harris is saying, "I am a burglar. I am climbing out of the window. I have got a stereo in my hand. What do you do?" And she's like, "Stop or I shoot." And
she can't talk loud. It's like,
but that's a setup. That's a setup for the very end where, she was integral to wrapping it all up, to be fair to her character. She's the one that realizes there could be a back entrance to the building and she might be able to get the drop with a gun on somebody. Callahan didn't realize that. Callahan actually said, "Stop, come back." Callahan made the mistake there. But
this is one of the scenes real quick to talk, like at the beginning when they're lined up.
Oh,
like,
yes.
What do you said? Hey, and because she's not talking loud, and then it's like barely a whisper. Yeah.
But the moment we see her in her full, like, I won't say male or female, I'll say cop power. She's embracing her cop power at the end of the film, and she's holding that gun. That look on her face, like, I will pull this trigger. I will pull this trigger. And you just feel like you raise your hands and go, "Yay, Laverne, yay!" It's just like such a feel-good moment, man.
Yeah, it really is. I know. I think the whole, I know everybody cheered. I remember hearing, it's like, yay, she won. And back then, that's the scene that everybody talked about that had watched the movie was, was that she triumphed there at the end. She had that payoff, like you said. It just was like the shout, screaming. As we go, there's a bunch of stuff to it, which I didn't understand the dorm life thing. I don't know if that's really how the police academy has always been, or some back then. I don't know how much of that, because they almost made it like a militaristic type of thing. Because you had these two key cadets that were like the well,
The
these
goons.
two were Harris's goons, and they had to punish Mahoney a lot and stuff. But we talked about the car scene, right?
Yeah.
Where Bubba Smith's in there driving it. He pulled, Mahoney just said, "Oh, we could rip the seats out," and then he's like, "I was kidding. We did it." He's kidding. So then again, they drive, and then then he said they're driving.
Well, they more than drive. They actually piss off their fellow police officers. And
even before that, they keep driving. He's like,
I know.
They're driving. Hightower. Bam, the car in front of him. Why are you doing it? Comes back here and he looks in and sees Bubba Smith sitting in the back seat. He's like, okay, I'm going to get back in my car and go. And of course,
even the beauty of that was that, he said, why didn't you hit the brakes? And because, Hightower is learning to drive. He says he's not been in a car since he was 12.
Yeah.
He says, you didn't tell me to stop.
Exactly.
I can relate to that. If an instructor doesn't tell me to do something, I ain't doing it.
Well, I tell you what I told the missus. It's like, well, that was back then when cars had real bumpers and they were made real good, where you could bump them and not do $10,000 worth of damage. So
versus Yugos and Mitsubishis.
Yeah. Well, listen, folks, and I mentioned this scene right here earlier because of course they got back. They dumped the car back at the academy.
Well, there's something about that car you cannot show on YouTube. All right. And that is a little plate on the front of the car that has a certain flag from 1855 that one of the goons had on his car. You know the flag I'm talking about.
You can't even show the. I don't know.
No, risky. Don't do it. Don't show it.
Well,
it was a moment showing how much of a butthead this guy is, and he's the dumber goon out of the two goons.
All he could do was sound effect. Look.
He sounded like Beaker from the Muppets.
Yes, exactly. Oh my God, Snorter Poopus. 1991 to 98, worked in a library that was attached to a police academy. Some of the cadets were interesting. And some do have dorms, some don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, this was a great scene too. These two guys here, these were the gangsters, and then Mr. Angel loved this scene. It's like he can't even talk. It was just and it was Mahoney's fault. So yeah, so then it basically it was like a series of different movies. We had the intro, then we had the second, the middle part where it was more the training, and as part of the training that I saw was that you had the different physical things. They had the physical course. I mean, Laverne couldn't get over the obstacle, but Hightower walked up and just knocked it over.
I love that part. It wasn't even him being a butthead. It was he was always empathetic from the start, and you kind of got the impression that he was just sick of all his fellow cadets being picked on and said, "All right, deal with this." Bam.
Yes. Yeah, it was crazy.
I love Hightower.
And then you had the hazing type stuff, like not really hazing. You had more of the punishment, like Mahoney violated, so they ran him out. They had him running, and they once in the rain had him doing push-ups and actually put dirty socks under him when his face landed in them. You had a lot. You had a bunch of different things with that. But before we move on to the next part, the latter part of it, there's things that happen in this training scenario. Yeah. We see them developing. We see them on a gun range, and how the hell does Tackleberry get like a cannon? to
That
blow
was
off
a
half
beautiful scene. That was a beautiful scene. And also, Kim Cattrall, if you look at the way she performed, she actually, in terms of technique and precision, she did the best out of all of them. But Tackleberry was smart enough to realize sometimes if there is a threat, and I'm using that in quotation marks,
Mhm.
you get behind the
Oh,
threat.
I was talking about there's two different parts. We had one with the gun range
Mm.
where they were all shooting with pistols supposedly, but he somehow had that big jacked up 357 Magnum that blew half the damn thing away. That's the one that I was talking about there. But then the two, because I think I saw some of those images real quick with that, because this is the course here. This is the course that we had here. This is Barbara taking the course.
Mm.
He keeps shooting to the right, to the left. Whoop! Took out a kid on the signs.
Yeah.
Then fired
Well,
again.
I mean,
Oh, got him. But then he turned around. He did what you don't do on a gun range.
I
He
know.
turned and looked at everybody, and it's like it's
But
comedically funny.
that actually was and you'll understand this, and I know Mark will understand this, and Clubby, in fact, will understand this. That was a tribute and an homage to similar comedy situations in the Three Stooges, where Barbara is actually being like Curly, the original Curly, in this, where he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's accidentally making everything happen properly. And I'm not a Three Stooges fan per se, but I did like the fact that they brought this up and modernized it for a 1984 audience. I actually thought that was a cool scene. I liked everybody in that scene. Everyone. There was nothing bad in that scene or wasted.
Yeah, well, see, like in here, when you got Bubba Smith, look how, I mean, he just
Bubba's
all ready for it. He's ready to go. Of course, the yellow glasses. I don't what to do with the yellow glasses. I know they're supposed to be safety glasses, but it was like
you know how in Star Wars there's head canon, where you imagine why something happened, right? And it's not part of the official thing. With that moment with Bubba and how serious he was with that, I was thinking, oh, this is because this poor guy in his florist shop has been stuck up and robbed at least 3 times late at night, when he's closing up shop. And he's just ready to blow some people away.
Exactly. I found a clip from what you said in the interrogation room here.
Oh, love that.
There you
go. Thank you.
Yes, found that. But yeah, you see a nice mustache.
Lovely mustache, great vest, perfect tie. This guy should have been in a John Carpenter movie or at least one 1980s horror film. This guy is great. I love him. Oh, God, the bit characters. There's not a single character wasted in this film. There is no waste in this film. It's like, when people are, at least I'll understand this, when people are talking about having all meat and no fat, no gristle, this film is all meat.
Yeah, I agree. It was not a wasted scene, not everything tied together. I thought it was a bunch of different sketch comedies, but in a bizarre way, they all worked. They all flowed together. They all tied together. Nothing was disjointed. It did not jump. It did not hop. It was really.
I knew you were going to say that, Lisa.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say that.
But the fat has all the flavor. Exactly. This gave you enough fat to have flavor. That's why we eat ribeyes around here. We don't fillet. We don't want New York strip. We don't want sirloin. We want a good marbled ribeye. So.
I'm sorry for laughing.
Lisa's cracking
me up. You're cracking because just between you and me, and yes, the chat can mock me for the next 10 years. I react to fat and gristle the way you react to eggs. So I need lean, baby. I need lean. Not with women, but with food.
Hey, JT's in the meat aisle. A lot of fat and grizzly cuts at this hour of the evening. Mr. Angel's throwing in the bacon. So. All right, bacon is God. Yeah. So, but see, like in this look here, there's the yellow glasses. He throws the hat down. He throws his glasses down. Then he puts these on. So I got the power, and then you go
I got
down
the power.
there, and then he's like, screaming, and hair's like, oh God, and then he's like, he gets from the back, shoots out there, knocks the door down, does rollovers, rolls over the car. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's like. And then the scorer is like, hey, I was like, golly, but you could see this determination. It's like they turned him loose with a shotgun, and he was all happy for it. He was ready. Yes, Rabbit. Yeah. We that happens when we have food on a lot of our streams, and when Mark is around too. Bacon now comes up, and you get a craving for bacon, or going to the Waffle House at least. Yeah,
Waffle House!
Yeah, but it's all this stuff worked. There was nothing wasted with the training scenes.
No.
They moved. It just was so interesting, which was kind of funny though. Too that of course they had a quote time that you got to leave. You get to have
Yes.
some off time.
The party leading up to the party
scene.
prank.
I got a picture of.
I want to set you up for this because I'm the Abbott.
Okay, go ahead.
You're Costello. You're Costello.
Right.
You're the funny guy.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now the thing with the party scene is it's bringing up the idea of the prank. So we get at least 3 pranks in this film, but they are not overwrought, but they're not underdone, and they are well constructed ideas. And the prank with the club, the gentleman's club, shall we say? I'm speaking in G-rated language.
Right, exactly.
That is actually the kind of thing teenagers that I was associated with in Sydney, we would do that to people. I did not do it, but my friends would do it. And we understand that's the way it works, particularly if somebody has messed with you beforehand, like the goons. So Gutenberg's character, Mahoney, was completely in his rights to do that because he's already figured out the game is being unfairly and, dare I say, illegally being rigged against him and his pals in the academy. So he is fully in his rights to give that false address. He's in his rights to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was all this went together. I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, why? What? It was like they made it seem like college. So,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Angel's throwing bacon and sushi out there for Snort Poopa. So
can't do both together, but I respect that, Mr. A.
Yeah. So you get the party here because see, one of the things that they did leading up to this, yes, there are boobs in the scene. Yes, exactly. There were also some earlier, and I think was it earlier than this when they had
yes, it was about 17 minutes earlier where the dormitory room is looking at the other building, and so you see Callahan beginning to undress, but we don't have any nudity,
right.
And then we switch to a guy who we don't know, who's got nothing to do with anybody. It's a random guy, and he's with 2 chicks in the bedroom.
Oh, and by the way, this same guy had previously in the movie he dressed up in a long shower robe with a shower cap like a female dorm member.
Yes, and that gets brought up later.
Yes,
with Callahan. Yeah. That becomes one of Callahan's greatest scenes.
Well, you notice what happened though. At one point earlier was that she actually saw him walk in there and go into the room, and she turned the corner and was looking very suspiciously. So
exactly.
So
but then we get the scene where he thinks he's going to be remonstrated. And this is where, and I wrote those in my notes, this is real subversion of expectations versus this postmodernist bullshit where you just like write something incorrectly, where you're expecting Callahan to write him up, get him kicked out of the academy. And he says, sorry, sir. And she says, it's ma'am. And denudes him, to use a pretentious but G-rated word. She denudes him and throws him onto the bed. And he says, oh, sir, and she whispers, it's ma'am. And then we know what happens afterwards. So that's another setup for a payoff.
But see, it's so funny that later, though, he's telling Mahoney that he's in love. It's like, have you ever had somebody just like, rock your world so much? It's like,
dude. But then near the end of the film, she says, you're meeting my parents at 8 p.m. sharp. Got it?
Mother expects flowers.
Yes.
And he's like, yes, ma'am. The guy that comes to I know we're jumping all around now, but hey, the guy that comes with all the party girls and all now leaves as a straight-laced, almost single
he's monogamous for the time being. He is totally in love. He is smitten, to use an old term word, a Shakespearean word. He is smitten with Callahan. He's like, oh, baby, lead me wherever you want to go. I will follow you to the ends of the earth.
So after we see the pan down, then we get a little bit of the boobs and buns scene there, and then of course
Yeah.
Mahoney's out there. So we get Harris coming up, busting him there, and then with probably a beer bottle, and then of course Harris is just standing there, and Harris turns and looks towards the windows, and just at that time the women look out and start screaming, and he just runs. It was a hilarious scene, but and then eventually they have a party to have a break where they're allowed some leave off campus for a bit, and they what was funny was that the two
goons,
the goons, where like Harris tells them, you need to find a party where the party, they always do it. And they're like, okay, so they trap Leslie Barbara, who's trying to study the least type of party guy in the world. And he's
trying to study while he's trying to drop a deuce on the toilet.
Well, and actually they did it. They also, here's how that worked. The first before the party, that he was in the room, in the classroom, and they threw the desk to the side.
Yeah.
Playing all tough. Hey, take his books and throw them out the window. And the guy took it and threw it and hit the window. They both.
But that's a gag. That's one of those physical gags that you really like.
Yeah.
I like it too.
I did. And so then they're like, just find out where the party is. So, Barbara goes to Mahoney. Honey, is there a party? Sure. Yeah, there's a party. You want to come? No. Oh, why not? Other people want to know. Oh, sure, there is a party. I'll tell you where. It's like Mahoney had sense to know something was up, without being told. I mean, of course, when Barbara said, not for me, it's for other people, he got it. And obviously they gave him back the information. So.
But it's interesting that you bring up the scene, because this is the last moment in the film where Gutenberg is a cardboard cutout character, the smart ass we all knew in high school, etc. After this moment, this is where we start seeing the character development, the character arc in Gutenberg's Mahoney character, where he starts caring, he starts looking at his fellow cadets differently, and he starts taking care. He starts dealing with the training process more. And up until this point, he just wants to get kicked out of the academy because he was forced to go in here. But after this point that you're referencing, suddenly he becomes invested. The human side of him comes out. And I
gotta laugh though. I'm like laughing. Folks, this is the 1980s. Look how short shorts they are.
Dude, I wore those things. I know.
I think on the back is even shorter.
Oh God. But at least regarding political correctness and everything being equal, we had a lot of those shorts being as short on some of the female characters and the extras and the backgrounds in this film.
Yeah, we did.
Especially the fight scene in the cafeteria, which I'm sure you're going to bring up.
We're going to get to in just a minute. I see here, this is like one of these, I was just backtracking a little bit here.
Mr. Angel.
Yes, there you go.
Mr. Angel, I'm telling you, we joked about this privately. There's not much vanilla in your diet. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, see, this is the earlier part with Callahan and George, obviously in the training area. So, but yeah, hey, you can see there's like some
the spark begins. The spark begins.
The foreshadowing comes, but we get then they tell obviously Barbara tells them where to. Oh, by the way, here's one. Let me show this real quick because it's like we talked about ripping the cars out, the seats out of the car. Yeah. There you go. Just ripped out the seats.
But it was so beautifully done. There's no CGI. There's no fake stuff. I mean, there are tricks that you know to do when you're making a film. And I worked on 2 short films. Okay. But the thing is, it is so believable when he rips that stuff out. You don't for a second doubt that moment of the scene. And he's doing it so deadpan, which is where good comedy comes from. So deadpan. He just gets into the car like, he doesn't say it, but that was a good idea, Mahoney. And Mahoney's just, I was kind of joking, man. But okay.
Hey, just to backtrack to the beginning, because I came across this images. This is the police chief looking at all the rabble coming and wanting to be police officers. You could see the disdain on his face. So
I love that.
like
I
we
love
talked
that.
about
Oh,
earlier.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a so he gets the wrong scene because that happened in the room. So so then uh they they
Damn it,
get
Snorty.
okay.
Sorry, Snorty.
Snorty
Gee,
Poopus.
PG, Snorty, PG.
Well, wait, we're going to push the PG limit because, folks, we got the party. We know where the real party was. It was not on the beach with the saxophone and all
Oh
the
no,
beer
here
and
we
stuff.
go. Here we go. All right, give me a moment. I gotta grab my coffee. I have had it in the microwave. Give me 3 seconds. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
you get 3 seconds because we're going to. This is where the real party was, folks, because we saw references in the chat to something. We saw references to the color blue. We saw references. Masters, I hope you're still here. I hope you're still here, Masters. Are you back yet? Great. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I hope, Masters, I hope you are still here, my friend. Because it's, you've been wanting and waiting for it. So, oh man. Yeah. Yeah, we're sorta. We'll see what happens. Oh my goodness. So I got to wait on Hungry though for this one here. But hey, the party is about to happen, as Triple M had said before. Like, you ready, Hungry?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Sorry for more than 3 seconds. I apologize.
Well, I'm going to bring up the image and I'm going to bring back Masters. I hope Masters is at least still here lurking because, I mean, this was all him earlier. So, oh, you are here. Thank you, sir. I am glad you're still here because this comment he said right here, this scene says it all. Blue Oyster Club.
I saw
the
that.
beer hall,
Yeah.
14 years all the time. More. Look at the look in the guy's face.
Oh, but again, for you and Masters, okay, yes, this the understandable terror here. I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the other thing is this. It seems like a completion of a scene, but the screenwriters are so clever that it is a secondary setup that seems like a payoff, and it leads to a later payoff. We're about 15 minutes later in the film. The two goons are so sleepy, and they're just dancing slowly with the leather boys.
Yeah, they're falling asleep. Yeah, it's like they're just. Yeah, it's hilarious to watch the whole thing because they walked in and they just stormed in with their shirts completely out of place, obviously.
I know.
And they're just like, holy crap. And then you hear that tango music.
I know.
Like, what the heck?
And then at the end, they look like they're about to get beat up by the gay guys for intruding, right? And at the end, the gay guys are like saying, "No, you really need a hug with a dance, my son."
Exactly.
And
it was nice.
It's very sweet. It's actually it's actually very it's almost PC, where it is not showing gay guys in a negative light at all. It's actually showing them in a very positive light.
No, it was one of the most iconic scenes ever because I know it got everybody's attention when it was out. It just was like, I think it was so unexpected that it was like, oh,
but that again is proper subversion of expectations versus Ruin Johnson. And I'm not going to go into that. I know he annoys the shit out of you, but it's like taking something you expect and having something different. That's actually considered by psychologists and psychiatrists the core of comedy. Yep. You take something that is standard, that and is expected, and you put a twist on it that you cannot anticipate, and it causes a flip switch in the brain where we laugh.
Well, like Mr. Angel said, the tango music in the scene is the cherry on top of everything right there. It truly is.
Nice, Mr. A. Nice.
Yeah, let me do one thing here. Let me pull this down, take a little bit of a break. I want to say something real quick to people that may be in here that were not here earlier. I'm going to try to bring something up real quick. Thank you for everybody here. Make sure you smash like, hit subscribe if you haven't, and get those notifications. Because it's there's a lot that's coming up and going on, and we are trying to get to 500. So just all this, I'm trying to pull this thing up real quick.
That's okay. I need some ice for my juice. You keep talking.
All right. Yep. So that's I'm actually trying to pull up. Oh, well, I must not got a tagged on something. But hey, let's see. Here we go. The misses. Earlier, folks, we talked about this. And here, if you don't know about it yet, October 17th, we are going to kick the tires on the original Battlestar Galactica series. Hungry Boy, JT Kirk, Lisa from YouTube. We're going to do this, discuss this, and have some fun with it. And there'll be some other things that we will have with that. Some surprise show and tell items that might be of interest to a lot of people. So wanted to show this with you now if you were late coming in, and we will talk about this again before we leave. But hey, thank you, for everybody that's been here tonight and coming. And yeah, exactly like the missus said, if you haven't voted, please vote for a favorite character. So
don't hate me for liking Harris, Mrs. But it's just when a wonderful actor like GW can actually embrace somebody that awful, I gotta respect them. You know what I mean? You've seen the Asian comedies. You know what I mean?
Well, he was so good that I kind of hated him. It was a guy you enjoyed to hate, and all that. So then, of course, we'll get. So then we talk about the famous Blue Oyster Bar scene, the tango music. Then, of course, the two goons come back pissed off, and they start the thing in the fight.
They mess with poor they mess with poor Barbara, but also. Yeah. The thing is, and this goes back to appreciation of your sight gag thing, which I agree with. There's this whole lead up. I mean, the tension is building in that cafeteria. It's building. Yeah. It's building. And we also see some cuties in the background. Remember I said respect the extras? Yeah. You have them in some of those very high shorts too, right? And you're sitting there going, what's going to happen? And they start messing with Mahoney, and poor Barbara is just like backing off, being a little bit meek, shall we say? I won't say cowardly, a little bit meek. And I know I'm going to shut up and let you bring up what happens, but there is a sight gag involving Barbara, which sets off the whole thing.
Yeah, because the mashed potatoes they're going to put it mashed potatoes and on a Mahoney, and then Barbara deadpans him with the lunch tray.
Yeah, but he moves back. They actually push him. He falls back, and we think he's out for the count, right? Because he's the fat cowardly guy, right? That's the setup. And suddenly, wham! It's like a Mel Brooks movie. Wham! The lunch tray right in the face. And you're like, oh, we know who that is. Good for you. Good for you, Barbara.
Exactly. I love these old 80s movies because we see a rotary phone on the table. Golly, I miss those days. So, but and then they had the buttons there, different lines. That was cool. But this is a scene we come up to after the lunchroom fight. Mahoney's like, here with the other guy, and the other guy's trying to blame Mahoney for the fight.
This is an evil scene you're showing right here.
Evil scene. Sinister. But you know what? But the thing is, Mahoney was looking out for his buddy, the friend. He was going to take the fall. He had wanted out, but he was actually going to sacrifice here because he had changed. He had wanted to stay on it. You could tell.
Yes.
But he knew
the character arc, the hero's journey we talked about.
And Barbara, he knew, was going to get kicked out. And he felt for Barbara, who was actually defending Mahoney there. Mahoney was trying to not avoid a situation, but Barbara threw the first punch and would have technically been thrown out. But here, because the goon number one's like, Barbara threw it, and no. Mahoney's like, I threw it. And the goon's like battling, blah, 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 Barbara, blah, blah. Of course, Mahoney said, and you can see the genius of Harris, like, what'd you say? What'd you say?
Machiavellian.
Tell me that's what you said. Did you say that? And he said, goon, did Mahoney throw the first punch? Sir, yes, sir. It's like that savoring, that enjoyment, that full pleasure that he finally got what he wanted to get rid of somebody, because he couldn't argue before earlier in the thing. Harris called Captain Reed to say, hey, Mahoney wanted to talk out, and then Mahoney's like, hey, can I leave? No, okay, bye.
Right. But also to back you up.
But this time,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. This time it was truly a case where Mahoney didn't want to go, but Harris had what he needed. Before, Harris didn't needed the captain to say no,
Yes.
he could go. Now, breaking of the rules, he could throw him out, and you can
This
see
is
the
the
glee.
major change. This is the major change in Mahoney's character for two reasons. Well, number one, I just want to say for this scene to work, and the directors and the editors did a fantastic job with this, and the cinematographer getting the light exactly right. They allow the scene to breathe. They allow G.W. Bailey to get those micro expressions, those subtle little twitches on his face, the narrowing of the eyes.
Yep.
He's like a cougar coming in on a defenseless rabbit, and people in America know what I mean by that. And the other thing too is this is a moment where, if you look at it very carefully, Mahoney, again, subtext, Mahoney didn't want to be in the police academy. He wanted to be thrown out, but he knows Barbara wanted to. He joined of his own volition. He wants to be a cop, and he's saving the guy who wants it so much to be a cop and make a difference, especially after he suffered from that little crappy ass gang that messed with him at the beginning of the movie. It's another payoff for a setup, and it is so wonderful. This is the moment where I actually started loving Mahoney, where I despised him up until a different point, which is a credit to Guttenberg. It's a credit to the directors and the writers. But Barbara wants to be a cop. He wanted to, and that's why he slammed that tray in the face, because he joined the cops because a sense of fair play, and good people should actually be the people who win the day, no matter what, no matter how scared they are. And so this film doesn't have a lot of action. This film doesn't have any sight gags, but it's one of the most important scenes in Police Academy. I'm sorry if I prattled on too much.
No, you're fine. I just I saw a comment that reminded me we almost forgot one of the most important things in the world out of this movie. Remember what I tweeted out today?
I know.
Beware of podiums.
No, look, no. I know about the hooker, and I know about the actress who played her. So you know what, Rabid Slug, we will have to speak in code.
Yes, we do.
But we will have to speak in code. But I will have some things to mention about the actress who played the. I will refer to her as the lady in red for G rating. The lady in red.
Yes, and I think
you want to talk about her or move on to a different scene? What do you want?
Well, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about how that came in through for a moment, but before we go, because from here, let's go ahead and finish up from there on, because then we get the riots and all that.
Well, you did bring up podium, so we kind of got to go there.
Yeah, let's go with the podiums. It's like But
and the lead up to the podiums, the lead up to the podiums where the goons think they're going to be so clever.
Yeah, it was the first time where they were getting Barbara thrown out, because they had gone to the Blue Oyster Bar, and so that thing was a chance to get him thrown out by having the professional in the room. Breaking, because they were about to have an inspection.
The lady in red, yes, the professional.
Yes. So it's like, you're like, how do we get out of this thing? And how, so Mahoney's left to try to fix it, to get her to take her off away from out of the dorms and into the lecture hall. Here we go. And
even before that, he's bringing her out, and he's saying, he makes a joke to calm her nerves. I mean, this
take
is
care.
Hey,
take care, Rabid Slug. Good to see you tonight, Kronos. Hey, take care. Glad you've been here. So,
Nadio, Rabid Slug. Thank you.
Now you got The Lady in Red by was it Krista Berg that sang that?
Oh, I hated that song.
I know.
Jess, I love you, but I hate that song. Not my 80s fare in terms of radio. But I'm glad to see you here, Jess. But the thing that I loved about this, and the way that the writers actually are paying attention to the characters they created, like they're living people, is that Barbara went, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm going to run to Mahoney and ask him a question.
Everybody went to Mahoney for the problems. Everybody did. When they had a problem, it was Mahoney was the man,
Yeah, and he's becoming more of the man. He was basically like a snotty teenager trapped in an adult body when we see him first at the parking lot. And by this point in the film, this guy has aged intellectually and emotionally and psychologically about 20 years. You know, he's got empathy, he's got concern, and he's even being nice to the lady in red. Code word. Lady in red. He's actually concerned for her. He's like, oh, yeah, she's getting dragged out. She doesn't know what's happening, and he makes up a joke. He makes up a lie, saying, "Okay, I just kind of like doing it in unexpected places."
Right,
She,
right,
okay.
exactly. Yeah, so
Making her comfortable. He's making.
I'm
comfortable.
taking host preference, and then we only got 6 people according to the thing that are here. But hey, I'm glad everybody's here with us tonight, especially this famous scene. Who could have ever forgotten about it? But I'm just going to let this one park here for a second. But and your mileage may vary because
your mileage may vary.
yeah, there you go. Your mileage may vary with this one. So, well, God, that's what the Snorty is such a
Snorty
polar bear.
Naughty.
Well,
Naughty Snorty.
Yeah, and the
Oh.
thing is, imagine the scene. You know,
But Lassard,
I
the
will say-
facial expressions.
yeah, I will
Facial
say
expressions.
this is one of those scenes that's different as an adult than when you're younger. You know, life experience. It's different. I will just stop there. But basically, also as you hear that first, and they, sound effects. You hear that sudden zip or unzip. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're like, oh God, what's coming? And then,
Oh, we know what's coming.
no. Oh God, I can't believe I said that. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, bad pun. That was like Roger Moore, 1983
Yes.
James Bond bad pun there, Dad, man.
I
applaud
do it
you.
by accident. I didn't even try to. It's like it just happens.
And that's what the missus said.
I know, it does. It does. It goes. It does it itself. But hey,
Oh boy, says Lisa.
oh Lisa, yeah. Well,
but the beauty of
but
it is,
but you've got to think of it. What is so funny with the way it was shot, though, was if you're like, I kind of like, was wondering what the people in the audience would have thinking at the podium, like, sitting their presentation with somebody. Let's let the picture speak.
Well, also when you're talking about that, this is an important point. So the actress who plays the lady in red,
right,
is
I
a
have
woman
her name here somewhere.
Georgina Spelvin.
Yes,
Her name is-
okay, yes.
but that was a stage name because like George Spelvin is to actors what oh God, what's the name for Alan Smithy is to a director. So if you don't want your name on a film because you're embarrassed by the film for whatever reason, as a director you call yourself Alan Smithy.
Oh,
Now, if
wait,
you're an actor,
wait. I got another one for you.
Okay.
Or if you worked on the South Park Scientology episode, you're John Doe or Jane Doe.
Yeah. Exactly. So Georgina Spelvin is the name for an actress who doesn't want her name attached.
Mhm.
And so she like tried to make her way in various, shall we say, above board entertainment. And then she kind of went into naughty, if you know what I mean,
Right.
G-rated stuff. And she's actually quite famous in the naughty, according to IMDb and Wikitardia, she's actually quite famous in regards to the naughty
Okay.
in the 70s, etc. So she was a perfect person to cast. But the thing was, she was actually a real actress and performer, especially with physical comedy on stage, before she got into anything else. So she was a great casting choice for this, because you know that scene where Mahoney is dragging her out, and then Lassard is marching all the people he's having the address to, which is leading up to the podium scene. He's marching them out, and suddenly they both run out. They see Lassard and all these dignitaries of law enforcement are like, "Wah!" And there's no words, etc. They just dive right back. It's like a Jerry Lewis film, you know? and it's like classic old comedy. And then they're getting ready. They're getting ready for Lassard to make his address to these people and do the slideshow.
Mhm.
And she's like, "What's going on here?" And he's like, "Oh, I got
Yeah.
something." He's putting her under the podium, and it's
Yeah.
all a lead up. It is so beautifully constructed and put together. One
Yeah.
leads to the other.
Yep. No, I got you. Yeah, it was like it was one of those classic scenes. Everybody laughs. It's hilarious.
And it comes back later.
Exactly. It does. It does. So hey, but yes, we did not forget that scene. We did not forget that scene. So basically, and we got that, and then like we said, we had the scene where they wanted to throw, Harris got his wish to throw Mahoney out finally.
Yeah.
Then the little incidental because it's our favorite geeky guy here who's out riding with a police officer.
Oh,
just tosses an apple out and hits somebody in the head. And then we get a riot.
Yes.
Oh, and
well, it leads to a street fight, which leads to a bar fight, which leads to a riot.
But what's even better is that in the middle of all that, in that little bar with the pool, is little Granny there with her stick, just like
I know
on all the pills, just watching everything go around. It was hilarious. Granny was there, Lassard's revenge. But yeah, it was. I tell you, it was so funny to watch the whole thing, and just then you got a riot, and then we've got this. I mean, we probably.
Oh, but the moment the
ahead.
riot is announced, and all. I mean, there are so many payoffs for setups. Mm-hmm. You have the moment where there is the announcement at the dormitory, the campus, the police campus, right? Where they say, okay, all cadets be ready. They're basically calling them to combat the riot. And somebody turns to Winslow and says, "Was that you?" He's like, "No."
Oh, yes. I know, exactly. It's like, it sounded like him though. They used his voice. It was like a similar voice too. That's what's so funny about it. But
exactly. And then
no,
you have
me.
You have poor Mahoney, who has already been kicked out, and he's in his civvies, his civilian clothes, and he's looking out the window at people preparing to go in. And you can see that he's like, I know I've been kicked out. I know this is going to kick my ass legally for the rest of my life if I make this decision to back up my buddies and back up the public and do the right thing and make the moral decision. And you just see, he is going to make the right decision. And then we see him, and it's almost like a serious cop film moment where we're going past all the people who've got their riot gear and helmets on, and then the camera settles on him, and we realize he's put on his riot gear, and he's going to take the risk to himself to help everyone else. And I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. My heart, like the Grinch, is growing 3 sizes greater.
Yes, I know. It's awesome. So.
And he's helping everybody out. I mean, at that point, it's all hands on deck. All hands on deck. And it is like, and I'm sorry to make fun of some people that I don't really like that much in terms of writing when they try to do what they want to do. But this is actually way better than what Joss Whedon does when he tries to collect the misfits for that big final Avengers moment or Buffy. This is the real misfits coming together and working with each other and doing it for the sake of everybody else's well-being and safety. And it is wonderful. And the film has the guts, after having so many jokes, so many times, to let this action moment, these heroic moments breathe and not have many jokes during the final battle, shall we say. Yeah. And I love that. And Kim Cattrall, she goes after the lost gun and she gets trapped. She's a hero in this. I mean, the women in this are actually fantastic. The women in this film are fantastic.
They were. Here's one of the scenes right here that we had here is that, this is about where you said earlier, that Hooks made the right decision here. They're pinned down here. Of course, I'm sitting there wondering how accurate training revolvers can be from these distances, but it's a movie. We not MST3K rules apply.
We got to give up some things.
Yeah, exactly. But it is interesting to see. End dives for 79 cents. Hey, there you go, Lisa. So If it's plants or it's food, it's Lisa's fault. So we'll blame. Yeah, we'll do that. But we've got this. We got.
We just lost Clobby. The moment you said plants as food, we lost Clobby. If he's lurking, he's gone.
Yeah. Well, we know we can't talk. You cannot talk anything green around our friend Clobby. Definitely.
No rabbit food for Clobby. No rabbit food.
No, not at all. So, but it's really cool with this. The scene you see, like you said, Kim Cattrall's character was trapped there, and did not. Oh gosh, Castle's been lurking. Haven't even heard something is my fault. I'm almost stunned. Oh my god, you lurkers! I love you lurkers, but golly, hey, good to see you, Castle. We didn't blame you on this one. This one is Lisa's responsible for anything that's food or green related, plant related. So hey, we got you on this one though.
I do like endives though, Lisa. I'm sorry, I do like endives. But
what are endives, by the way?
Ask Lisa. I don't want to explain it. Keep going.
Okay, well, we'll go. Okay.
I like all onions. I like all onions or anything similar to an onion.
Yep.
I like chives. Dude, give me that onion.
No, Lisa said I didn't do it. Yeah, well, sorry. It's like Castle doesn't get to it. You just embrace it. But hey, if it's green or if it's food, it's Lisa. So, all right. Lettuce. Oh God, lettuce.
Rabbit food.
Thank you.
I love lettuce.
Thank you. That's cool.
Sorry.
Oh, because it's really, really cool. And you see, we also get our. Let's see if I can find another picture with. See, this is a whole series. This scene even worked because you had a different. It was like a series of different scenes with different characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because we even had George at one point was let's see if I got one right here. He's walking a lady down the street, carrying a TV, in the middle of the riot, and he's like, then he sees the crowd coming behind them, so.
And also, right around this time, we have Hightower who's snipping flowers at his flower shop, the payoff to, the setup. And he hears the trouble brewing, and you just see that look on his face. He straightens his shoulders, and they may have kicked him out, but he's going to go defend people. He don't care. I love that. Goosebumps.
Yes. Okay. And here, I knew I saw the scene here, right here. See, George is still here, like carrying
George flirting, trying to get action with a Japanese girl, talking about sushi and sake. I mean, dude, there's a time and a place.
There were another line in there too that I just like. I was like, oh my gosh, did they get away with that in 1984?
I know. Dude, we can't say it. But yes.
Well, Mr. Angel loves his salads. As Sora Poopa said, lettuce is a socially acceptable way of eating dressing. I agree. Yes.
That's the only reason I have Caesar salad in my refrigerator, Snorty.
Well, I tell you, in South Carolina, we went to a place that put like a gallon of Thousand Island on lettuce. Yeah. It was like cool. So, duck food, wabbit food, and croutons.
Lisa and Mr. A are going to kill me for this, but I have said this for 30 years. The only reason for raw fish is a vehicle for wasabi. That's it. No reason to eat raw fish if wasabi did not exist.
All right. Well, so, these scenes in here with the riot, there were like a bunch of disjointed things, but they didn't feel disjointed. They all blended together. They all ran together. And, you even had the two goons, coming along the fence, trash talking everybody. And,
but that's a setup for a payoff. That's a setup for the payoff you'll talk about later at the one of the best moments in the film with Hightower. Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. Cause it's, I saw a picture in here in just a second. I just gotta do that real quick.
Oh God, here we go.
Watch out for podiums. This scene right in here. This right here. This was at the I don't know
But
if I'm supposed to.
because you
I don't
showed
know.
that,
Yeah.
because you showed that, I have to mention this.
Mhm.
All right, like we mentioned at the beginning, I don't like how Lassard is made to be kind of demented
Yeah.
later on. I don't like how do that, but in this one, he's got enough memory recall to realize what Mahoney did to him, and then say,
Yes.
"Here's your gift back, buddy. Merry
Yes.
Christmas."
Yes. What comes around goes back. So, well, and the two goons had the guy at the that I just showed at the fence. They were banging the fence. They're like, "Hey, you want some? You want some?" And then they ran out of the fence. It was like, "Holy crap! Uh oh!" Hey, Light Furry Twitch, welcome. Hey, on the Twitch side, hey, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Oh, a raid. Oh boy, let's see what's got a raid over here. Hey.
That's a good sign for
Hey,
your channel, bro.
Hey, thank you, Heldstone. Hey, thank you for the raid, Heldstone. And Light Furry Twitch is here. Thank you for coming in. Wow, we've got 18 votes. Favorite character so far: Tackleberry's at 56%, Mahoney 22%, Lavelle Jones 17%, and Lieutenant Harris at 6%. So, all right. So in the Netherlands, we eat herring raw onion, no wasabi needed. So
hey, look, I will try that. I won't try clam pizza, but I'll try that. But
yes. So. All right. So Jess says in the Midwest, ranch goes on more than salad. I need to know people dip pizza. Yeah, I've heard of people dipping pizza in the ranch. So basically, like we said, we get the riot scenes. They come in here.
They were pretty intense, dude. They were pretty intense riot scenes for a comedy film.
Yeah. See, this is the one where Lassard's driving in the neighborhood. Hey, where are you? Of course, now. This brings
up the Winslow heroic moment. This brings up the Winslow.
It does, but see, this is also set up because Lassard had told Harris where to go, and he's like, I never forget a thing. And they put him down here, and then because we see the one cop drive by the Harris, like, what are y'all doing here? We're from the academy. He's like, the riot's just down the block. We're pulling out. You see the oh shit looking Harris's face, like, oh God, what did we do? And and at that point, everybody gets overrun, everything. He gets captured. The Mahoney, George, and Jonesy jump in the car with Lassard, and it was one of the great moments of all time. This is Commandant Eric Lassard. And what I love with these goofy 80s movies is like the whole riot gang just stopped. They all stopped, got quiet.
Yeah.
Listen, he was authoritative. I disperse and then all of a sudden, after the little brief silence, they start screaming and banging the car again. It's like they actually stopped to listen to him and for a second. And then that's when Jonesy grabs the mic and does the machine gun fire and all that. And everybody
50 cal machine gun.
I tell you, that was great. That was crazy. A great scene here too. This movie is full of these type of great scenes. They really, really were. That they worked and through the movie, and and then we go from here. We have the final scene that we alluded to earlier with them on the roof. Harris had gotten captured by the one guy, the two, and of course the training guns were stolen. And then basically we come up to a situation up here. This is Mahoney had gotten up there, but Mahoney, Lieutenant Harris, what do I do? Harris did so much, so he gave up the gun. So he had the bad guy had two guys up there, and then here comes Hightower.
I need to bring up something here regarding the scene.
Yes.
Because I'm a big John Carpenter fan, and films like Where Eagles Dare, and I'm sure you've seen that film too. As a World War II film. The fact here, and we're going to go into it, is that Hightower is so smart. That going against type, especially for comedies of this type back when it came out, that he's using his personal demographic to con this bad guy and make him feel comfortable with Hightower before he goes completely assault on Precinct 13 on this bad guy. And I love it. It's fantastic. It is so well written. And oh boy.
Yum. I know it was really, really cool. And then He goes up there like, I want to help you off these pigs, as and
He's totally setting the guy up.
to go all street on him. And of course, one of the things I told the missus last night was, how many dang shots do those revolvers have in there? Not just the accuracy. That's how my brain works, Hungry. I'm sitting there counting the number of bullets. The car crash earlier that did no damage. That's how my brain works. It's a curse. But then all of a sudden he's like, this one. And then he turns and cold cocks him down through the door, tumbles down the stairs. And then we get Hooks with her classic scene. Let me see if I can find that in here. Give me 1 second. Because the look really... If I can find the look with it,
she was gorgeous in this scene. She was fantastic in this moment. Oh,
yeah. Because if I can find the scene, because it really is worth the look for what had, because she really pulled the scene off.
While you're looking for
it. Oh, by the way, let me show. Let me detour. Yeah, let me do. While you talk, I'm going to detour back to look. I think that the missus talked, or somebody had said when Bubba Smith was driving the car, the look at his face.
And I wanted to add an anecdote here, a factual anecdote while you're looking for stuff. So ignore me. There's a very interesting thing about G.W. Bailey. Wow. That he actually went gray very early. So Hollywood cast him being 20 years older than he was. And he, as an actor, during this climactic moment on the roof, was older than the guy who was prepared to kill him. And it's hilarious that this goober threatening to kill him is actually calling him the old cop. I'll kill the old cop, where he's actually older than the person he's calling the old cop. And that's just, happenstance. So luckily that ended up meaning GW got a lot of work that he might not have had. He could actually play older characters than he was. But I just think it's funny that this guy, who is so clearly at least 15 years older and drug-addled and alcohol-riddled than G.W. Bailey, is saying, I'm going to kill the old one. Look in the mirror, bitch. Look in the mirror.
Exactly. Well, on these list of photos, I don't see it here. Let me see one thing. Let's see.
Yeah, Snorty. The 20-shot revolvers. Yeah.
Yes.
And the 120-shot M16s, right, Snorty?
Oh, by the way, also in the driving test with Hooks, was so great about Hooks was Hooks did the it was singing a Christmas song driving around. And Mrs., thank you for the update there. 20 likes. I was trying to get to 20 likes. Hey, thank you, everybody. Hey, we got another sub back.
Hooks was doing a perfect job on the driving test, although going slower than Hightower.
Yes.
And then even Harris, she does so well. Harris just says when she gets out of the car, not bad. Not bad. And that's when Callahan looks with disgust at Harris. It's like, she deserved more credit than that.
Right. Exactly.
Dagnabbit.
Let's have one coordinated stream with my Germans. We will lift it. There you go. Here's the look. After he falls out,
yeah!
Don't move, dirtbag!
Oh, I love her.
I tell you, I do remember seeing it in the theater. And I remember when it heard, everybody started cheering with that scene. It was like her journey was complete. Everybody had a different hero's journey in this in one way or another. It was just amazing to see how each and every one developed and got better.
Well, also she did so well in this that she becomes the ongoing character in other sequels. So clearly she did something right, and directors and the writers did something right with her character. Everybody did the right thing. And so she becomes a recurring character. And you have to be pretty talented to become a recurring character.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Mrs. She's lurking, but she finished the construction media shelf. She's got like 3,000 DVDs to get stocked up in there.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, she talked to me about that the other night. That's a lot.
She did a heck of a job putting it together. It's amazing looking at it. So, Well, and then we have the movie. The end of the movie. Everybody graduates, and we have a triumphant music and stuff, and then they bring them up for the awards, and then Hightower. They had difficulty getting the award on Hightower. Then he's like, "Thanks."
All right, that was beautiful though. That is classic comedy. Say a few words. Okay, bitch. Thanks. I'm done.
Yeah.
That was great. That was fantastic.
And then Mahoney,
Mahoney.
Go ahead. Mahoney comes out with this, like, I gotta take it off his glove or whatever. I'm getting ready for a big speech right here, and then you hear a zip.
And then Georgina Spelvin is back.
And you see him. Is it the third wall or the fourth wall? Because you see Mahoney looking.
Fourth wall.
Yeah, he breaks that fourth wall looking at the audience.
Yeah.
And then he turns and looks at Lassard, who's like, like.
But also, we had a moment just before. I mean, he's accepting that. He had no choice about that. And we see Lassard going, I got you back, bitch. Right. And that's beautiful. Yeah. But before that, Lassard actually catches him kissing Kim Cattrall.
Oh, yes.
And for a moment, he thinks like these are two guys kissing. I'm no judgment. But then she turns around and he's like, oh, well done. Carry on.
Yeah. Yep.
Keep up the good work. That's what he said.
Keep up the good work. Yes. All kinds of great lines with that. So. So and then we have that, and it's pretty much over at that point. Hey, we get a repeat of the climax in the middle, and there we have it at the end, and I
just want to add one more thing. Just one more thing. They're all marching, and this is something I love in films. Where they're having the final moment, but they put the credits over it, so it's not wasting our time in the audience. It's like doubling up in a smart way. And we're seeing that. We're hearing the music, and we're seeing Callahan leading these magnificent new recruits who are going into the police force, and you can actually see the pride on her face. She is the anti-Harris. And there's that little moment with Harris where he's got to pretend like nothing bad happened. He's got to suck it up. And that's his punishment as a villain. His punishment is realizing he was the goober. He was the dirwad. He made mistakes, and he's got to live with that for the rest of his life. Whereas Callahan is like, I kind of knew these people had it in them. And I love the way she's marching with pride, bringing these new recruits into the police force. And I think it is a beautiful thing. It's a glorious thing. And it makes all of us feel better about the life we live in.
Exactly. It was good. You see, she was proven right with the belt. Oh, hello, Pacific 414.
Hello.
Welcome. Good to see you tonight. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hope you're well. We're getting close to the end of this wonderful show, but hey, stick with us for a bit. Good to see you, everybody. Mrs. said we're up near 20 likes, so make sure y'all smash that like button. Sub if you haven't, because we've been losing the YouTube algorithms, been getting us the last few days. The Mrs. likes to hear me talk about it. It's hilarious. It's like
I call it the algo beastie. It's the algo beastie. It's a beast that's trying to devour everything, and sometimes it doesn't help you.
It's all good, but hey, good to see you tonight, sir. I've seen you around. Hey. Sit back, share some memories if you like. In the time we have left, if you like Police Academy, tell us what you think.
Also, I just want to, just as you're doing that, I want to really thank Mr. Angel for being here the whole time. I know what his sleep schedule is like. I know what he's been going through, and I just want to thank you for staying with us this long, Mr. A.
Yes, it's late. Pal. Yes, thank you, sir. Absolutely, thank you for the
Lisa
reminder
too.
on that. So absolutely everybody, they're great. Hey, I have so many great names in the chat, and but let's transition towards the end. But yeah, like I said, make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all hit the like button. But feel free in this time. Tell us some of the other memories you have. We talked about some of the scenes. If you like this movie, let us know what you really think of it, or even some of the others, because this film went on to spawn 6 sequels. And near the end, it's almost like, it's like, really, you're doing another? We're doing, it's like, we thought Rocky movies were bad, but this, but this one,
Friday the 13th,
Friday the 13th, 200. Freddy's still not dead.
I'm gonna hiccup
all
in a
right.
moment. That's funny.
Pacific 414 said, always like the first 4 Police Academy movies.
Mm.
Yeah, feel free. We've to share if you have a free scene or something. We got a poll there to vote in. If you like, if you, I only picked 4 at random because there's any number of characters. What's your favorite character? What are some of your favorite scenes? And only on the chat. If you still, while we're talking a little bit here, like Pacific mentions 4 Police Academy, first 4. I mean, this one, I mean, you had Mission to Moscow near the end. You had
that was
First
pretty
Assignment
good.
was the second one. You had Miami Beach, Citizens on Patrol, which I believe Citizens on Patrol is the one where
Bobcat.
Was that the first one with Bobcat? I guess. Oh man, yes.
I might be wrong, but I think that was the first one with Bobcat because he was swiped off the street for being a ne'er-do-well, to use a Southern term.
Yeah, and then he appeared later. Yeah, but it was it was it was really interesting to see how a franchise kept going like that. You would have thought that it would have died at some point, and
the concept is really good. The script, I mean, for the through lines in scripts, you always have a through line with a Police Academy film. All you got to worry about is the tenor of the times. Like, what can we get away with the comedy now versus what people are going to complain about? And I just want to also say there would be, as much as I like the show, there would be no Reno 911 without Police Academy.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think that show could have happened without it's an evolution, like you can't have you cannot have a good 1960s Frankenstein film from Britain with Hammer Horror without what Universal did with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi and all the other people who played the Frankenstein monster, including one of my favorites, and Mark agrees with this, Glenn Strange, who used to be a stunt actor. So with comedy stuff, there's certain things you cannot have unless you have a predecessor. And the predecessor leads to what you are trying to do later. And I think these films, particularly this first one, particularly Police Academy #1, is integral to any forms of situational comedy in films or television that involve law enforcement.
Yes. Yeah, I got you. Definitely with that. One thing that it just dawned on me too was we focus on this first movie, like the famous people that have popped up and made appearances. But all of the movies after that seem to have some people that we either were famous at the time or we've seen over the years. Because it brought me back to Miami Beach, which was the 5th one. And look, first Police Academy is in 1984.
Yeah.
1980, they put 5 movies out in 5 years. And if Miami Beach was in 88, the first one was in 84. But for all you Star Trek friends, the great guy, the great security officer of the best Star Trek around, Deep Space Nine. There you go. And I know he recently passed away in last few years, but what a great actor.
Renee. I tell you
what, because was he on Benson too?
Yes,
years ago.
Yes, he was the butler on Benson.
I love
not the butler. Sorry, not the butler. The major domo of the household, the major domo, and he also he was before that. He was the voice of the talking skeleton in one of the most wonderful animated films of all time, developed from one of the most wonderful fantasy books of all time, The Last Unicorn. He was a voice in The Last Unicorn. And he's done a lot of he's done a lot of voiceover acting for animation, and he's fantastic. I love Renee to death.
Hey, listen, guess what I'm going to do? Guess what I'm going to do? Guess what I'm going to do? Pacific 414 says, I like Lassard, Jones, Tackleberry, and Callahan. We all like all those. Good choices. George, and Mr. Angel said, Age of the Cameo.
Nice.
Guess what? The Star Wars person is going to salute to you, great Star Trek fans out here with this one.
Here we go.
There you go. Oh no! Now I'm not going to even talk about Bajor or the Major Kira. Oh dear God, I don't know why they did that, but hey.
Nope.
This guy, I think he was better in the early seasons. He didn't have anyway her weighing him down. But anyway, that's a
Her
different
weighing him down.
that's a different that's a different trauma for everybody to have to deal with. But hey,
I know, but the thing is, I love the actress who plays Kira, Nana Visitor.
Oh yes,
And
yeah,
she's fantastic. She's
Yes, she
great. And
is.
it's not her fault that some of the
No.
scripts let her and him down.
no, I know. It just was. It's really unfortunate that they did that with them because So I just I think that I also trying to figure out did he. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out another movie. Let's see what he played in. Final photos by no, okay. I didn't want to say one that I thought he was in that I can't see yet. But hey, it's really, really cool to see all these guys. The whole series seemed to have people somewhere, or like Mr. Angel said, Age of the Cameo. Yeah, and yes, I heard about that happened recently.
Mr.
Angel,
Angel, you and
Kira's
I are in
mine.
trouble for that. Klobby cannot accept that. Klobby cannot accept that, but you and I can. It's
Hey,
all
you
right.
can have whatever you want. It's what's all good. That's what's all good. So that's a little detour I took with that one at the end because I that's one. I mean, we may talk about some of the others, we may not, but I mean, are there any other people, actresses that you can think of, and any of them that really stood out to you that, in any of the Police Academy movies?
I think we actually covered all of them. I mean, there aren't that many that we haven't focused on that went on to do bigger and better things. But I mean, Cattrall, obviously. We look at Gutenberg, obviously, and we look at Harris. I mean, my good God, G.W. Bailey. He's still working in television today, and that's very rare. He's in The Closer, and he's also in Major Crimes. And he does benefits. He covers a lot of bases. He does a lot of stuff for charity. And then you look at well, I don't know what Michael Winslow's doing. I haven't heard anything from him for the past 20 years.
I wanted to share this with Renee on this because I could never pronounce his name. But this is how
Angel.
This is except for them making him as Odo, but I think it's pretty cool. He always looked refined and stately, but he pulled off kind of the gangster look, kind of the.
Oh yeah.
With this one, it's like, hey, he did it pretty good. Not too bad. So,
I will not suffer a bad word said about Renee. I have adored everything he does because he takes the time, or took the time, to listen to what his role needed to be. He would look at the scripts, he would analyze them, he would come up with different takes. I mean, he was an actor's actor, both in theater but also on television. And the man had not only artistic work ethic, but just work ethic, And so did Nana Visitor. So yeah, people can go, oh my God, Odo and Kira, oh my God. But that was just a blip in both of their careers. And, it's like with Gutenberg, you can talk about certain elements of this film and have complaints, but he did go on to do other things. And like I said, Cattrall, we have to give actors the leeway to do what they have to do to make a production happen, but then go on to other projects.
Yep. Well, also Renee was also the Reverend in The Patriot. I thought so too. So
yeah,
I like making connections. So
I love character actors, man.
Yes,
exactly. That's why I love this film so much. Character actors, and
it, like you said, it was a film with character actors, but they also everything tied together so perfectly. Right. Everything worked in this comedy. It was not, nothing was wasted. It really was not wasted. You had great actors. You had a great script. It wasn't just it wasn't like my kind of Beavis and Butthead type of mindless humor thing. It was actually funny. I mean, and it wasn't all the naked women for laughs, or just raunchiness just for the sake of laughs. I mean, it was done
Yeah.
cerebrally, purpose, with intention, and with some well placed adult humor and well placed just general humor, really, for that matter.
Yeah,
Instead of
that's exactly what Oscar Wilde would do with characters and why he became so popular. It's also going back 421 years what Shakespeare did with the Merry Wives of Windsor, with Falstaff, etc., who was a bit character in a drama, Henry IV, Part 1 and
Mhm.
Part 2. But then, the word got around. Oh, Falstaff is funny. Shakespeare should go ahead and do something else with Falstaff. And even though we did not have the internet back then or smartphones, the word got back to Shakespeare and he said, okay, I'm just going to write a story about Falstaff. And he created the Merry Wives of Windsor, which is incredibly funny, if you want to deal with the Shakespearean stuff. But that brings up to us to the idea that certain precepts of writing a story will always be funny if you have the guts and the wherewithal and the work ethic to work with the script, and then have a good director who appreciates that script and lets the actors shine. And they did in this. The actors shone, to use the proper English language, they shone or shone, if you're coming from northern Britain, they shone in this movie. They were gleaming lights, all of them, and none of them. I don't think there was one lazy moment of anyone on screen. Do you agree?
Nope, not at all. It was very well acted, very well given, and
Mm.
really they just weren't. They gave it their all. In a weird way, it worked. Like I said, and I may have it wrong, and we may disagree on terms, as we still have 13 people with us with this stream.
That's
Folks,
pretty good.
feel free to put new scenes and stuff in this if you like, and we'll play off that a little bit and talk about if you want to talk about something with it. But I really felt like it was a bunch of like a bunch of small skits that were put together, but they were put together in a way that they were seamless, like a good artist will do, like a tapestry.
I disagree. I disagree. I
Okay.
think actually that there was a through line in the script, and that the people writing the script and developing it decided to have these vignettes, these mini scenes, but rewrite them so that they all worked in again, setups for payoffs, and they all intertwined like a beautiful spider web.
Yeah.
I think it was all intentional.
Well, no. I didn't mean to infer that it was not intentional. I think in that case that it was I think if anything, with the way describing it as a bunch of short skits coming together, it takes talent to integrate it the way they did. It was seamless. It all worked together. You did not feel lumpy and clunky like I saw the Pelican Brief with where did that scene come from here?
Brief. Oh
Yeah.
God.
That was a movie that was so much like the book that if you had to read the book to understand.
I know.
If you watched it in real life, it was like, that made no sense. Where the hell did this guy come from? What was that?
I do enjoy the Pelican Brief, but the thing is, you are 100% correct, and I'm not going to say anything else.
It was just like, what the hell? I thank God I read the book, because that's the only way I understood what it didn't make sense. It was the opposite of the firm. I hated the firm so much. I went and bought the damn book. I bought the book and read the damn thing, and I loved it. And I hate reading. Damn it,
Yes,
Tom
you do.
Cruise. Golly, damn Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
I know.
Oh, dude. I like
don't have
five.
cast
I'll
of the
be
bone.
honest. I like 5 of his movies. I like 5 of his movies, but I like all the G.W. Bailey movies and television shows. But Tom, I mean, I'm going to sound like a goober here.
Yeah.
He was bearable in War of the Worlds. Bearable.
Bearable? Bearable?
That's for Snorty.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, JT Kirk's done shopping finally. No apples, bananas, raspberry. Oh, hey,
I hear
we don't
ya.
want fruit. We don't want fruit.
Hey, I want fruit.
I don't want damn fruit. None of the whole damn store. It had plenty of pumpkin spice cornflakes. Who's that even made for? Oh my God, we might turn this into a cereal stream, but no, we won't. Whoever watched the movie, they pick a character they can relate with. That's the true brilliance in the movie.
Yes.
Absolutely. Very much so.
Excellent
Kirk.
observation, Mr. A. Excellent observation.
How many pelicans do you need to catch to make a pair?
Ah!
So, yes. And Lisa says a pumpkin spice is for pies.
Ah!
Yeah. Wow. Well, we will go ahead and wrap it up here. Let me look at the poll, and I'll remember it before everybody yells at me. We got 19 votes. Let's see how many. Let's see. We got still 10 people here. What was? Oh, we hit 20 likes. Wow.
But also, like you
you.
said, you have said
Yeah.
previously, Dad Man. One thing we have to say to anybody in the chat or lurking, if they have not seen this movie, please give this movie a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Exactly. You just
You'll be
try
happy
it
if
for
you do.
yourself. Yeah. So, all right. So, well, let's close the poll. We got 19 votes. We got 20 likes. Say, hey, it's been a productive night. We got one more sub. Thank you again to whoever sub. Let me see if I can figure it out. Sometimes YouTube notifies me when I get subs.
Okay.
Usually they don't. So, but hey, it then. So we're going to end the poll here because it's a pretty much it is a majority. It is a really easy win. Tackleberry wins with 52%. Who couldn't love the guy that shoots everything that moves or doesn't move and destroys a birthday cake? Mahoney was second, actually. Wow, beat Jones and Harris.
Okay,
wow.
good.
That is interesting because see, I would have always voted for Jones. I always thought Mahoney just annoyed me, you know.
I'm glad to hear you say it. Well,
He was
for the first 2/3
he was
of the movie.
he was the punk, well, but still, he was the punk guy that happened to get the girl and all the other stuff. He didn't follow the rules, so you know what? He still gets the women and all. But you know, you nice guys, you know, suck.
You nice guys.
But hey,
no, I get you. I get you. I mean, the thing with Mahoney. The thing with Mahoney is you get to be a jerkwad and then you still get Kim Cattrall at the end. I know that's not fair.
I know it's not fair. Not fair in any universe, folks. But hey, you got any last thoughts with this one before we move on, or go ahead and wrap up because we're at 2.5 hours and.
All I'm gonna say is, as a joke, I watched this on 720p, right? And it still looks better than a whole bunch of high definition shit that is on current day television.
Yes.
It was because it was so well constructed. The cinematography was great. The camera work was great. The editing was great. And it lets you go with the flow. Right. And this film let me go with the flow years afterwards, decades afterwards. And I commend it. I actually commend it. And at the end of it all, it's not just a comedy. It is a feel-good film. And so was Star Wars. And I just want to say, Han Solo came back at the end, even when he had nothing to gain in 1977. And he helped out people destroy the Death Star. Gutenberg in this film did not have to come back. He did not have to risk everything and go to jail for impersonating a cadet after he had been kicked out of the police academy program, but he came back for his fellow men and women. So there's a tiny bit of Han Solo in Gutenberg's Mahoney character.
You think so? That's
you
interesting.
Can disagree. You can disagree.
I guess so. That makes sense. I had not thought of it like that. So
don't agree with me because I'm the avid to your Casello.
No, I not. No, actually, it's a fair point. I never really had thought of it like that. So, JT Kirk said 720p and it still looks far better than. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hungry for Mexico. Yes, with 10 folks with us.
Hungry for Mexico.
Hopefully y'all are still here. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up here. But don't forget, on the 17th of October, we're talking the original Battlestar Galactica. It will not just be only Hungry Boy. It'll be JT Kirk and it'll be the incredible Lisa from YouTube as we talk about this classic. Get the word out, share it with other people. We're going to do something hopefully fun, unique, and it'll be a show and tell with the other stuff. So hopefully a lot of people come. Bring your friends, neighbors, dogs, drunks, cows, dogs, bears, whatever you got. Bring them in, get them signed up. Well, let's hit 500 as soon as we can, and we'll have some fun with this stuff.
I got to make one joke for Masters of Mexico, MMM, right? Okay, so you say Hungry for Mexico. I got two names for you. Pablo from NCIS, and Selma Hayek. So yes.
I thought you were going to talk Pablo Hidalgo from the Star
Nope.
Wars stuff. I'm like, what?
Nope.
Like, what? No. We might have to fight on that one, but no, I'm just kidding. But hey, so join us for this one, guys. This is the classic. God, I can't. There's something I want to keep. I kind of said it a little bit earlier. There is something with this. You know, Hungry. This is so classic. This movie, this series, the Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
You know what I want to talk about because Rift Tracks. There's something out there that just. This movie had such great graphics. Everybody loved to use it. So we're going to say that there. Hey, Snort Poopa said he can be found mooching at a window near you. And Lisa come early and often the Battlestar. So, yes, exactly. So good job. Thank you, everybody. With 10 still watching, definitely come here for that. Then also tomorrow night, 8 p.m., on a special night. Normally football's been on Thursdays, but like I said, because of our trip having to be rescheduled, we had committed to Tuesday night with this one. Somebody that y'all don't know who this guy is. Somebody I know his brother, and this is really going to be sports on a local level. And look, come out, hang out. This guy knows the sports. It's going to be passionate. If you want to hear a dad man rant, you will probably get a dad man rant about the Florida Gators this week after that disaster crap in Lexington, Kentucky. MC Wally MC Wally's my friend, and he's a Gator fan too. And you never know what kind of crap you're going to hear us yelling about tomorrow night. But join us with that. Yes, Mr. Angel, by your command. Love that too. By
your command.
Yeah. So, so join us tomorrow night for MC Wally. Appreciate y'all support. It'll be great. It'll definitely be great. He's actually been a floor announcer for games and stuff and promotions guy. So he's very active. It'll be a lot of fun. I think a lot of energy with that. Thank you, Jess, for the the links and everybody. Absolutely. Thank you for all you mods out there. Thank you, especially. I know you're working a lot of times, Jess, when you're doing a lot of stuff. So, hey. And thank you, JT Kirk. Yes, twitch.tv where Aang is. Trying to get Aang. And try to get Aang encouraged to get back onto the YouTube side. But Aang's had some problems with the computer lately, trying to get a few things worked out. So, hey, Storm Poova's waving. Yeah, Jess. Yeah, what a disaster in the fourth quarter. Yeah, y'all almost had a win, and it got away. So, and yes, thank you. You're welcome,
Thank
Lisa.
you, dear Lisa. Thank you, my Kryptonian cafe goddess.
Yeah, Masters, it's always good to see you in the chats, my friend.
Hey, if I could get on a plane, if they would legally let me on a plane with my crippledom, I would visit you. But unfortunately, Qantas and nobody else is going to let me in that seat.
Nope. Well, folks, find our videos on YouTube and youtube.com, twitch.tv at DadmanWalking55. Also, make sure you hit the notifications on Twitch, hit the bell for all notifications on the YouTube. Make sure you're still subscribed. We don't know what happens. Sometimes you get unsubscribed. Sometimes your notifications get changed. But also for notifications, follow me on Twitter or X and at DadmanWalking55 at DadmanWalking55 because that's the only real DadmanWalking55 that's out there.
Not that other person.
No, not that other person. And that's when I try to tweet out every time I go live. So thank you for being here all, and we will say hungry.
Oh, no. One thing I have to say before we go.
Okay.
In honor of this film, in honor of our mutual appreciation of the original MST3K, the greatest crush Tom Servo ever had was Kim Cattrall.
Oh, wow. Kim Cattrall.
Good night, folks.
Good night. Bye. Let me see if I can hit end stream correctly tonight. Because of the way I started. Let's see if I hear voices on the way out. Bye, all.